Hello. What's up, everyone? Yo, what's good? What's good, everybody? Oh, I can hear myself. Hold up. Oh, I gotta mute the stream. Yeah. Okay. Now I think I'm good. Oh, I was literally just watching the video today. Marshall D. Preach? He uploaded a video that's like 2 hours long of him explaining how Joy Boy is oars, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, yo, a lot of this stuff I never noticed. It sounds really convincing though. And the editing is crazy. I'm like, "Who edited this?" Because it's like a 2 hour long video, but, like, every second is, like, really advanced quality editing. I'm like, if he's doing all this himself, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, they're talented. There's two people, Wizard of Wars and Marshall Lee Preach. They are talented
Oh,
people.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I realized I was muted. It should be fixed, guys. But you guys should have been able to hear Geo that entire time. So uh, now the professional
Bars.
introduction, the more professional introduction. Welcome, guys, to the voice of all things, where we essentially, I mean, my plan is, as long as One Piece goes, to continuously bring in more voices that uh, talk about One Piece a lot, but then also
Mhm.
like a lot of people end up hearing them whether or not you personally have interact with them. And Geo here is probably amongst a lot of the creators is one of the people whose names it carries a lot of weight regardless of what platform you're on. And I personally experienced
Yeah,
that
some
because I
reason.
made a video talking about a post you had and the controversy around it, and then it was just wild, like people's
Were
responses.
they I bet they were just cooking me the whole time.
It was fun. It was like, yo, normally I should cook Geo, but this time he
Oh,
saw,
really?
yeah, and I'm
Rare
like,
GLW, that's what it was.
but the funniest part is like, and this is no offense to you, I literally put like 3 words that you said on the thing, and they were like, yo, that's, I was like, wait, what do you mean normally you hate him, but 3 words made you switch? Like, how'd that happen? Like, that sounds like a problem. Like,
Yeah.
but as far as the stream goes, if you guys are new here, my take, if you guys don't know who I am or what I do, it's I just make videos on YouTube. Right now I'm making a lot more shorts. I normally do theories, and for me, like,
I've been seeing them,
oh yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of them.
we've talked
Yeah.
about them when you were streaming a little bit earlier on Twitch. um but for me, like, one of the most important things that I like to take into consideration too, when I make a lot of the theories, is like my perspective isn't, might not be the most important perspective in this context. Like, even if this is my idea or whatever. For example, I think my favorite version of this is the Bogard video. I had the Bogard video, which is something we should talk about considering Twitter. Like, I feel like Bogard's name is on Twitter a lot, like especially
It's and
recently.
it runs so heavy thanks to the One Piece live action right now, which is crazy.
Yeah, yeah, it's wild that that's the case. And so, like, I made the video, and then 2 months later Bogart shows up in the manga, and then we get the Bogart announced in the live action. And
Wait, he was in the manga?
yeah, he was in
Oh,
1082 1080 something,
I thought people were
1086.
trolling with that. I
No,
didn't
yeah,
see him.
he's on the side. If you it's like, so the we got the digital scans, right? The digital scans
Uh-huh.
cut off like 15 pixels, 20 pixels, and that amount, you see, like, you get the full image of him, like, standing full body, and you're like, wait, hold on.
What?
Yeah, 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 yeah. So if
Let
you
me
look
see.
at people
I'm looking
posted
at it right
their
now.
they took pictures of like the raws, and you can see them in the raw scans. I forgot what chapter. If people, I think it's 1087, I believe. um Whichever chapter it was before Kobe's honesty impact. Whatever, the chapter before that is the one where
I
he
think
shows up
I,
again.
I I remember I saw the raw.
Yeah.
He's like off to the corner, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And he
yeah.
gets completely cut off.
Yeah. And it's like, so it's like it's like a side character, but it's a very distinguished one, because it's like that's exactly
Yeah.
how he drew him in like chapter 0. and previously in the manga. So it's like it's a thing. But when it came to making that theory, I took that one differently because I had the whole idea. I scripted it out, but before I put it out, I streamed with a TikTok creator named Xavier. Um,
Oh, I
Xavier
always see
Wolfman.
him. Your Xavier Wolf fan.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
always see him in your voice of all things.
yeah. He's I love bringing him up because he makes content and like he covers the reviews, chapters and all that stuff, and is very good analysis of things. And then occasionally he'll throw in Bogart, like he'll just put in Bogart randomly, and you're like, how did he connect this to Bogart? And I did that because I wanted to learn what like a Bogart fan would feel like. Does this theory make sense? And it made sense to him. And he doesn't even care for Bogart to be like an insanely powerful character. He just likes Bogart. He when One Piece, when he first started watching One Piece, he essentially just Bogart was just cool to him. And then from then on, he
Uh-huh.
just never cared for Bogart to be cool. He just loves Bogart. And
For the for
no,
the longest time, I thought Bogart was a filler character. I swear, I didn't even know he was real. I'm like, is this guy actually in the story?
no, and that's completely fair and valid. It's just crazy now that the live action's there, and Oda wrote him
Yeah,
into one of the most important scenes in One Piece. Like he paid an act, like that's a lot of money to go out of your way for
that's
a character who
insane.
wasn't there, right?
Yeah, I feel like he has to bring him back now for like make him make him like a very relevant character in the story again.
Hey, and
Like
if you,
main plot, like you know.
I got a 50-minute video of people wondering what, oh, Bogart, he's gonna be important. Go watch that video. But what
I
I
think I
want,
saw that. I think I did.
hey,
I'm pretty
it
sure I did.
everybody should watch it because the agenda is being skewed. People are expecting things that are why that what are we talking about? Why are we saying Bogart should be doing like
Someone said
stopping
Bogart is in Skypiea. Is that true?
Bogart in Sky? I don't know about that. I don't know
Is
about
he in
Skypiea.
Skypiea?
I don't
Was
think
he
he's
in?
in, no. He's not. They're just trolling you. They're just trolling you specifically.
Okay, I'm like, there's no way I would know this, right?
But this was a interesting like kind of like preface segue because I put up a poll and it says 73, I think it says 73%. My camera's in the way, god damn it. 73% of people use Twitter for One Piece. 28% is actually a lot, but I feel like there's a lot of the community that doesn't use Twitter, but then also does, if they use Twitter, they don't use it for One Piece per se.
If
And
they
you,
if they did use Twitter, they probably left because they saw my tweets. It's like, let me get up out of here.
see, okay. I asked you something earlier this month, and you didn't answer, and we're gonna talk about that in a second because I need to know the answer of it. But what I wanted to start off is you have like I'm gonna pull up your thing for those of you guys who don't know. If you guys are on Twitter, go follow Gio. He puts up like a bunch of news, and then as far as the conversation, hey, you may not like to agree with everybody on Twitter. If anything, you shouldn't be agreeing. You shouldn't be going to Twitter to agree with people. But
Literally,
I
it's a conversational platform. Like
and
that's why everyone on there is so angry. It seems like.
leave it to the Yonko of Twitter to explain that because there was I think like there's a few things that stood out to me about specifically you. You're like the only non like official account on Twitter that's like 100K plus that is just on Twitter that just does One Piece. Like there's not that many
Yeah.
people like that. There's just you.
Who else is it? I think it is. Well, there's like a bunch of Arabic accounts. I don't know. I'm
Mm.
not sure. Like those guys have a lot of followers. I'm like Arabic One Piece Twitter goes hard. But I don't know if they're on YouTube or not.
You know what that's like? That's like being in like the West Blue and then be like, yo, what's happening over in the grand
Yeah,
what's going on in the
you're
Grand
in there.
Line? Yo, that's wild. Um but yeah, like and so I put up a post, a short, and I just mentioned you. I just said like Geo tweeted this, and Hassan, a Twitch streamer who's getting into One Piece, said this, and both of you guys apparently are equally controversial if I were to weigh it out, he has more haters though, because
I feel
those
like he's worse than me because he's like on like that like political side of Twitter,
yeah, yeah,
and those
yeah.
guys they get crazier than One Piece fans. I think
And like
like the One Piece fans they just hate my takes. They literally hate that guy. Like they hate him.
so that and you know, obviously people are like, damn, like I tweeted out literally, let me show you people like my I don't know if I'm like doxing myself by putting up my mentions. All I did, guys, was this tweet that I'm gonna go stream with Geo, and then
Oh,
where's
I saw the replies.
yeah, the
Oh man.
replies are just like ew, gross, and I'm like, wait, what? What did
And
Geo do?
I had looked at one of the people and it said they follow me. I'm like, why are you being mean? You literally follow me.
Let me see if I can pull it. I'm not good at Twitter, but let me see. John
I'll be so used
Trumpet.
to it, I just be cutting it out. Like, oh,
I
that guy, I know who that is.
I don't know.
That guy is toxic.
Yeah, like I was like, what's happening here? I mean, I guess they're not showing up right now, but some people were kind of mean.
Wait, don't. I'm trying to, because that John Trumpet guy said something really wild. I don't want you to read what he said.
I didn't click on it, but
Don't read that. Don't do that.
okay, okay.
Don't read that.
So um I you know,
Don't click on
obviously
that.
I'm not on Twitter. Twitter's normally they're spoilers, and so like I don't read spoilers for my streams. I'm also not online like that. Like the only reason why I'm on social media is because now I have like the YouTube accounts and whatever. But other than that, I wouldn't be on social media. So I've just interacted
That's
with
good.
you because you've like we messaged each other, like replied to each other, and then you streamed, and then we talked, and I'm like,
Yeah,
wait,
when
this
I saw
guy's
you in my
normal.
chat, I was so surprised. I'm like, is that the real ParVision, or is like a because I don't know how Twitch is. I thought
Yeah.
maybe someone was like trying to pretend to be you, but like no, that's the actual ParVision. What in the world? That's crazy. Whenever you were first in there.
Yeah, yeah. As I just hopped in, I was like, "Yo, I didn't know Geo was streaming. I didn't even know if you
Yeah.
tweeted it. I think I just like ended up finding your stream, and
Oh, that's so cool. People were saying that it's because I was streaming the new One Piece game that I think that's the first day it came
yeah,
out. And I immediately started streaming it, but it was like kind of dead because the game was it wasn't bad, but it was kind of like I guess boring, for like a One Piece game. It was like kind of like turn based something like that. So
hmm
most people they weren't really interested, but people were just trying to jump in and be like, "Yo, is the game good? Is the game good?" In my chat, and they're like, "Oh, this is Gio from Twitter. What are you doing on Twitch?"
yeah, yeah. And
Like
that was a fun time. And so like when I talked to you there,
it was fun. It
you
was
were just
fun.
like you weren't this monster that people were painting out. You're just like a dude
Yeah.
playing on Odyssey and just
I
like
feel like it was way less back then. I don't know when like things got crazy.
and and then like obviously before the stream, you know, I do a little bit of research, try learn a little bit. So I did the very same thing, and I just scrolled on your Twitter, and I was just reading things. I'm like, wait, none of this stuff like at least in the last day, at least in the last day, Geo
I have
is kind of
I have
normal.
said some crazy things. Yeah, I think it's just the thing that makes people the most upset about my tweets is that I always sort of like get other fan bases involved in One Piece. So what I always compare One Piece to like Dragon Ball or
hmm
to like Naruto. And you
Yeah.
know me, you know how One Piece fans are. If you've watched all of One Piece, I feel like anyone who has actually watched One Piece from like episode one
hmm
to like all the way through, like maybe not the fillers, but like most of the content, you'll know that One Piece is like the greatest anime ever, like
Yeah,
bar none.
it's a
I
hard
feel like there's no
conversation.
competition.
It's a hard
Maybe that's just
conversation
me.
to have with people outside of the community. I'm
Yeah,
interacting with
'cause
a
they'll
lot of
never
people
understand. It's so long.
with my shorts. Like I'm posting these shorts that are, some of them are kind of like, even if you don't watch One Piece, you might still watch
Mhm.
the video. And so some people are commenting like someone literally commented, I don't watch One Piece, but then they asked me about Gear 5, and they were like, so does that mean like Luffy is losing control because of this power? And like I was like, so clearly you're fine with spoilers. That's one thing.
Yeah, I feel like
Um
a lot of people know what Gear 5 is when they don't watch when they haven't watched One Piece. A lot of people because we kind of went crazy with it, so like everyone knows what Gear 5 is. Like is I think it's just as common as like I won't say nothing crazy because that people will get
I
mad
knew
if I
you
say
were
that.
gonna say that. I made a post. I made a post
I'm not
that
gonna say
saying
that.
like, you know, obviously the word iconic was where I was like had an issue. I was like, we can't take away Dragon
Iconic,
Ball's like
yeah.
the thing, and like, I don't know where. Okay, so you actually no, you brought this up. You brought this up because this is I asked you on Twitter. I was like, were you the one who like started this like on Twitter? Did you say like, oh, Gear 5 is more? Was that you, or do you know like where that
I don't
started?
I don't want to take credit for it because I feel like it would have happened anyway, just because of like how things are right now. But I was instigating it. I was really on that. Like I feel like Gear 5 is going to surpass Super Saiyan. Like
Yeah.
in terms of its debut, maybe will it be more iconic? Well, one time I was on a Twitter space and someone told me they were like, it can't be more iconic because it hasn't been in the game as long as Super
Hmm.
Saiyan. So
Yeah.
it can't be that because it's too new. It's too new in terms of like anime transformations. But I do feel like in terms of it's their first debut, I think Gear 5 did surpass Super Saiyan just in that initial, even though it's had like 30 years on it, so it's not really fair, but because animation in general has gotten so much better since then.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that like in terms of I don't know why this like gif is just hilarious to me. It was, like
Which
the
one, the Zoro gift?
no, the Inaki met Oda and then you responded and the guy just jumping out of his seat, and I just have that looping on the screen right
That's
now.
literally my reaction. That was my reaction to him meeting Oda.
Yeah,
Oh, that's insane.
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like people
definitely.
don't realize how crazy that is unless you're a One Piece fan. Like Oda is so mysterious.
Yeah,
For him to have met him, they have to really have faith in the live action.
and then even in the picture they blocked off like his view, like you can't see him, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
um but yeah, with the whole super saiyan thing, my thing, like if anyone's seen my video, I didn't post it on YouTube yet because it's 5 minutes long, but I posted on TikTok and Instagram. I'm gonna post it on my second account. I think I posted on Twitter, maybe. I don't know if TikTok or Twitter lets you do 5 minute videos, I forget, but is yeah, it's kind of just like, it's hard. It's always going comparing an like an icon of the past. It'll never play off well of the icon in the future, because oftentimes the icon of modern days, if they're in the same genre, they inspired each other, right? So then you
Right.
fall into
Yeah.
that conversation of where Oda literally said like, one Dragon Ball is my favorite thing. Like I literally
Yeah.
went into Shonen Jump trying to get the Dragon Ball's throne. And like, so, the conversation of
I think he
Dragon
got
Ball
it.
in
He
One
got it too.
Piece is like, a separate thing, right? Like One Piece and Dragon Ball,
Hmm.
that's the series. If we're talking about Super Saiyan and Gear 5, that's where I was just like, at the end of the day, like it's gonna be different, right? Because Super Saiyan was an
Hmm.
icon for like power ups, right? Like gym
Yeah.
motivation. Like it's iconic for that
Right.
kind of thing.
You see
Whereas
people in the gym. What they shirts be saying? I think their shirts always says something. It's like a Dragon Ball shirt when they're working out. I
yes,
forgot what
I
it
know what
said.
you're talking about. But with Gear 5, right? When you think about it, you'd never use Gear 5 and Super Saiyan in the same context. Like if someone said, "Yo, I just went Gear 5 at the gym," I'm like, that's a little goofy. Like what were you doing at the gym, bro? Like
What was he doing? Laughing? Something make you laugh?
yeah,
Was
don't
something
do that
so funny?
anymore, right? Like that's not
He was just jumping around.
yeah, so it's like, so for me it's like there'll be icons in a separate thing, and that's where Oda said like, he said that a lot of people mistake this quote, and I've been seeing it because you just see like this happens on Twitter a lot, where you just see like a line like Oda said this, right? But what really matters is what did he say before and what did he say after, right? And so a lot of people, you probably saw it, like Oda said, "Oh, I made Gear 5 like I wanted it to be a joke. Even if people don't like it, it doesn't matter. I hate when manga becomes too
I saw
serious."
that. Yeah, he hates like the edgy. That's my perspective was on that. Like he doesn't like the edgy, like 2010 AMV with Linkin Park transformations, or it's like
So, and so what's interesting, right, is like you look at Gear 4, you look at Gear 2, and you look at that, and it's like that's kind of similar to that, but like who
Snake Man is the prime suspect for that.
yeah, and then you go back and you look at it and it's like, if Oda's trying to change the conversation, where did that conversation start? And that conversation did start with Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball was the purveyor of, with Super Saiyan, the rage, power up, getting more
Mhm.
serious, and
Yeah.
to the point where it's like, people are like, oh, but when people say auras aren't good, blah blah blah, it's like, at the end of the day, that's still Dragon Ball. So like when One Piece had the aura stuff and we are like, oh, it feels like Dragon Ball, well, that's a testament to how much of an icon Dragon Ball is, that we're saying that in the
Yeah.
midst of it. So that's where it's like, obviously on Twitter you can't like have that full conversation, but people won't even see that. You know what I mean? Like, even if you want to be that serious, they won't even give you the time of day. They'll see what
They
they
don't.
want to
Yeah.
see, all that stuff,
Exactly.
right? And so that's when I was like, I scrolling through, I'm like, yo, if you just look at this like at a sane person, he's just a person on Twitter every day, like talking about One Piece. My takeaway when I look at your profile is like, yo, this guy is a mega fan. Like at
That's
the
what
end
I
of it,
am. I try to
yeah.
be a big fan.
And
That's why my bio just says One Piece fan, because that's what I am. Like,
and
I feel like that's what we all are at the end of the day.
everyone's gonna come in different shapes and forms, and you like, I don't know why people are like, yo, he shouldn't be on Twitter. I'm like, but he's there and he's a big One Piece fan. You
And
could take that
I'm
as a
not
good
going
thing.
anywhere either.
Yeah.
I figured it out. I know how to avoid getting like suspended and all that kind of stuff. So I'm
So
pretty solid over there.
here's my question, right?
Mm.
I don't know if you've said this on other streams or anything, but like, how did you enter like One Piece? Like, when did you start One Piece? Was it when you were young? And then also add on to that, like, how did Twitter become involved in that situation?
Okay, so whenever I was in high school, believe it or not, I was a really, really big Naruto fan and Dragon Ball
Oh,
fan. Those were my first favorite series before I got into One Piece.
uh-huh.
Cause I always felt like One Piece was just way too long. I'm not back. That was in like 2014 though, so that was like, I think it was like Marineford was popping off initially. That's when like Marineford was going crazy. Everybody was like talking about
Mm,
One Piece, and they were like, oh, my friend when I was in high school, I think it was like freshman year. My friend, he's like, bro, you gotta watch One Piece. It's going crazy, and I'm like, I can't. It's too long. I can't watch all those episodes. And then he's like, you know what? This is where he's the worst like influence in terms of like the allegations I have today, which is so crazy. Because
mm-hmm.
he's the person who told me to initially skip Skypiea.
Oh, no. You keep
Because
on
he
bringing
said,
up the allegations on your own, by the way. This entire
no, it's
stream.
true. It's
I
true.
Yeah, yeah,
He
but
told me just get straight to Water 7 because that's when One Piece gets good. That's exactly what he said.
yeah,
He's like the worst One Piece fan ever, but that's what he told me to do.
it's just see, okay, see, I'll just say here, part of what I try to do when I bring people on is I will introduce the controversy in a light, and you were just like, yeah, this is why I skip
It's part of my story. It's part of the origin story.
you
I
didn't
have to
even
bring it
let
up.
me soften the blow. But continue. So so you shifting the little bit, this mega One Piece fan that you had got you into
Mhm.
the series, and he was the one who was just like, Skypea, fuck it. Like,
Yeah, because he was telling me that it's a very boring arc and it's not that important either.
okay, oh, I'm
I
sorry,
think
my headphone fell
back
out.
then,
Hold on, sorry, I'm laughing too hard. That's
yeah.
hilarious. uh
He was like the worst. I haven't talked to him in a while. He's like the worst like mega One Piece fan ever. I guess besides me maybe, depending on who you are.
oh my god. Okay, see, like, see, you saying that, right? Now I can
Uh-huh.
understand it a little bit. I don't know this guy, right? But
Right.
what I do understand is, I think a lot of us can understand and recognize the, like, when, if you're telling someone about One Piece, like a new person, how do you handle
Mhm.
Skypiea? Everybody who's been in this position, it's an awkward conversation. What do you say? Like, yeah, it's slow. It's this.
It is slow. The one thing I hate when people act like it's this easy arc to get through. It's like try to watch Skypiea again. It's not easy. It's
Yeah,
not easy to get through if you
no,
ask me. It's
100%.
very
Manga's
difficult on your
better.
first watch. Like everyone has a hard time with that arc, and if you don't, you're like I won't say you're like one way, you're like one in a million, but it's a challenge to get through that arc, you know.
Yeah, I like so I was anime only. I got through Skypiea. I was younger. I like all the comedy, whatever, like the slow pace didn't bother me. Anime was slower back then anyways.
It
But
was.
and so like
Dude, the back then I caught up with Skypiea through like watching AMVs on YouTube. I looked up Luffy versus NL full fight, and it was just them fighting with like some fire music, and I'm like, it's pretty
yo,
cool. Like I'm not gonna watch all the episodes though, but it's so hard.
see, I you sound crazy, but I'm gonna tell you something at the end of this conversation. I want everyone to hear it. It's a short that I'm literally specifically making for you, and I'm gonna
For
uh
me, whoa.
yeah. Well, you're not gonna like why, but it's
Oh
because
no.
because I got inspired recently with all that because I just remembered the whole Skip Skypea thing, right? And we've talked about
Mhm.
it. It's whatever. But you saying you caught up with the AMVs is kind of crazy. But
I know a lot about it now though. I
yeah.
I think today I still haven't watched a lot of. I haven't watched the entire arc all the way through.
But have you've
But I know
read?
so much. No, I haven't read it either. Like
Okay.
not from like start to finish.
Okay. So guys, you hear that? Your blood boiling. You're angry. I get it. It
I'm sorry,
hurts.
chat. It's a
It's
rough arc,
but
even for a mega fan.
I have something to tell you guys at the end of this that might it's from Oda, and then also I'm gonna say some things as well that maybe it encourages Geo
I
to
think I
end
think
up
I know what you're
reading it.
talking about, the Oda thing.
Okay, so I'm gonna make that and because Oda, I've been making a lot of things about like Oda's interviews and notes and stuff like that, and
I
he
saw that's such a good idea. You're like it's like what what's his name? The guy on Twitter. Forgot his name. It's like what he does on Twitter, but for shorts.
oh you're talking about
I
Sandman?
forgot his name. Sandman, yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
what he
yeah,
does for
yeah.
that for shorts. Man, that's such a good idea.
Shout outs to Sandman
It's
because
like
he's pulling all the stuff and translating them, and then some like I think there's a few other people they're not on Twitter, but thank God for these guys like to get these because there's so much supplementary material that I don't think like
it
even
is.
mega
It's a
fans
lot.
even know exist, and like
I didn't know a lot of that stuff because it's from like super old volumes. Like
it,
you know,
it's
I
from
actually
not
own
even
some
the
of the
volumes.
volumes.
It like so
Oh,
here's
really?
yeah so like the a few um there was a few shorts I recently posted. They're not
Oh,
even from the volumes. They're from his coloring books. And in those coloring books, that's where he's like
wow.
super personable. Like he actually puts himself out there. Like the every volume for One Piece, he has like a little note, and in those notes, he kind of puts a
Mhm.
joke or something that's on his mind or like a cryptic message. In the coloring books, he straight up like, yo, this is my childhood trauma. I'm like, whoa, that's
It's
crazy.
like a diary just go all out. He's like, I mean, no one's gonna read this, so it's okay.
Yeah, he basically was just
Little does
like
he know,
everybody made fun of
ParVision
me
is
as a
coming
kid.
through.
And I'm like, yo, hold up, come on,
Oh
yo.
man, I think
Um,
I saw that one recently.
yeah, I posted that one,
You did
but
short about it.
the one that is gonna help your situation, I haven't. I just thought about making that content because people brought up the Skip Skypea thing, which we'll get to that. So basically, guys, like at the end of the day, we can't this is the outcome of being a mega fan, right? Like not everyone's gonna be able to
Mhm.
communicate how to deal with it. Unfortunately, Geo was brought into the space with not the best introduction, and you could be mad about how the outcome of it. He still hasn't read it. That's another thing. Catching up to AMV's another thing. But
Yeah, at least I watched it. With other series, it's even worse for me. Like with Naruto, I haven't watched any of Shippuden. I caught up with Naruto through the Storm games.
honestly though, a lot of people might be like, yeah, you don't even need to watch Shippuden. Early first Naruto is fine. You know,
Yeah, I love the first Naruto. I love that one.
yeah, Shippuden is kind of how do I describe it? It's good, but it's also like it's a Tootsie Pop. Like you go through so much of the series, you lick and you get to the center, and you're like, eh, you're like,
Yeah,
eh,
it's not that deep. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, that's what I
yeah,
would
yeah.
imagine.
So that's how
Like,
it
I mean, it's
is.
not like it's not One Piece, you know.
I like how you keep up that end. To me, that's real. Because like a lot of people, I wanted to bring the conversation to Twitter too, because a lot of people will say like, oh, he's just saying this to say shit, right? But like for me, it's like
Yeah.
people are genuine, and I like it when people are genuine. And if this is their genuine take and they're genuine like this, well, this is how you're gonna see it, right? Like you have no reason to out
Right.
yourself like this. You're just like, yo, those AMVs went hard, bro. Skypeo was kind of cool through them. But so this so we stopped the story there, right? Like your friend got you into that. You were
Yeah.
catching up, and so it was through the anime though, right? Outside of Skypiea, it was
Right.
just
I was watching
anime
the anime,
up
and
to
then I think I
Marineford.
made it to right, and I made it to Water 7. And that's when it really picked up for me. That's when I felt it. I think in Water 7 is when I fell in love with One Piece, and I was like, "This is my favorite anime ever." And then I
Hmm.
just kept watching it, and I got to Marineford, and then that was like I want to say that took me like a long time because I was watching it at my own pace, you know. And
Yeah.
then I finally caught up to Punk Hazard, and like from that point, from right there in One Piece, I was in love with it. It was my favorite anime ever. Like I was so dedicated that I didn't want to watch nothing else because I'm like I know nothing else will ever be this good, you know, like literally.
So I saw you tweet. I didn't know this backstory, but when I was looking at your Twitter, you were saying like yeah, I'll pull up the tweet. Let me see if it's my screen is still sharing. Um, this is the one thing. So because I saw this tweet, I was like, oh, let me rearrange my shorts output schedule right now. So you said it was a Lucci thing. You said One Piece villains being pretty cool guys, a thread, and then like
Yeah.
I didn't see the full thing, but it was about Lucci. And so like obviously if Water 7 made you fall in love, Lucci probably played a big part in that.
Yeah, I love when Oda brought him back.
Mm.
When he brought him back in Egghead, I'm like, finally, because Oda's been like teasing him in like movies and stuff. Like he was in, I think he was in Film Gold. He was in Stampede.
I think he's in every movie, honestly.
He was, yeah. I'm like, where is he? Is he gonna put him here because you're not gonna place him in a big role in the actual series?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's so cool because he's such a badass character, man. I think the community gave him like so much shit for some reason, but he's
So
really cool.
I just posted a short at the start at 4, and I posted it because maybe some people hop in this conversation to hear this part. But the did you know
Oh.
that Oda didn't have Lucci pre-planned? He wasn't the villain.
I heard something like that, but
Yeah.
I'm not really sure like how it goes, like the full context.
So the only things that
Didn't he just pick random like people from the I forgot how it goes.
it was basically so I've been looking at these notes. He did like 8 of them where he admitted like not admitted, that's a weird word, but like he explained like how he went about how certain characters got larger roles than he had ever expected, because when he goes into
Mm,
making an important arc, he has the arc in mind and not the characters, and he has like this is how the arc should move and these are the people who move it, but he doesn't necessarily have it locked in who's moving it. So in Water
mm,
7's case, the thing that he had planned beforehand was that Frankie was going to join the Straw Hats, and that the Going Merry, they were going to say goodbye to the Going Merry. Those are the two things that he had going in. There was no villain, and initially he drew in all the shipwrights so that he could make it confusing, so that we wouldn't think that Frankie would join. So he's like, oh, they need a shipwright, so here's a bunch of shipwrights. And until it wasn't until he like concept arted and drew Lucci a few times. He looked at Lucci and he didn't even say Lucci in the post. He said, "Yo, this guy with a pigeon. That's the villain." That's what he said. And then that's how
that's so
Lucci
cool.
ended up becoming the
And
villain.
Lucci and when you look at Lucci, you can kind of tell based on his design that he's like the main villain. It's because of
Yeah.
how he looks.
Yeah, he
Like,
and
I couldn't imagine it being Kaku or like Bluno. I'm like it has to be this guy.
it's really interesting when I was like, yo, like you're like what you're saying is so right, because then it's like he made it feel like Lucci. There's something up about this guy. You know what I mean? He threw us
Yeah.
off with the pigeon. You know, he had the pigeon on the shoulder. He's like, ah, it's probably okay.
Wasn't the pigeon talking for a minute too? Like
Yeah,
I remember
Luffy thought it was talking, and
Hattori was
then
yeah.
yeah, that was and it was a good meme, a great one. It's just the theories about Hattori the pigeon are super strong in my opinion. I'm a supporter of
Oh,
Hattori.
I've seen so many good Hattori pigeon theories. I saw one. I think this got debunked, but I saw one theory a while ago where they were saying that it was
Hattori was the traitor.
Lafayette.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was gonna put out a
Lafayette.
big
He's
video
like
on that.
disguised as him. Or it could be. I don't know if Katarina Devon can transform into pigeons, but if she can, like low key,
She should be able to. She should be able
yeah,
to.
maybe Hattori got bodied. She's like disguised as Hattori. That'd be real low though. I'm like, really the pigeon? You got to get a pigeon? That sucks.
Um, the real quick, I wanted to say, Time Lord, thank you for the bits, by the way. I did thank you because I was looking at it and I did change the Twitch title. I gotta get better at the Twitch stuff. Um, and then also I'll be getting to some. I see these other super chats. We'll be getting to them as the conversation. We'll go back to the Super Saiyan one in a little bit because you know that's how Twitter goes. You have a conversation, come back to it, all
Right.
that jazz.
Especially if you know it gets interactions. Specifically on Twitter.
With okay, so Water 7 made you fall in love, and
Uh-huh.
people were talking about One Piece at the time. You said you were in high school, and I'm
Yeah.
assuming the internet you were referring to was Twitter, right?
Right. That whenever I was in high school, I think during Marineford,
Uh-huh.
I think Naruto was like in the fourth grade Ninja War or something like that.
Oh, so like
So
2012, 11
I want
ish.
to say it was around then. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I remember I would sit at this table full of like anime nerds. We would all talk about like all the anime that was coming out. And
Okay,
like
but you were at the
there were
anime nerds table.
I was there, yeah. And
Okay,
back
okay.
then it wasn't like that popular. Like I feel like we were like the only anime nerd table in the whole school, and it was like because it was like in the morning you would go there during like breakfast, and like we were the only like anime nerd table with it. It was like a huge cafeteria though. Everyone was talking. And I
Mm,
remember because it kind of felt like Twitter, like in a mini Twitter, because we would be talking about everything, and we would like power scale like characters, like you know Luffy would somehow get thrown in because of my friend, but Luffy was never like in the discussion. It was
mm-hmm.
always like, oh, Naruto and Ichigo, and sometimes somebody might bring up Goku, but for the most part, because Naruto was like in like its like biggest stage at that time,
Yeah.
Naruto was like the main discussion point.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
but
fair, right? Like Naruto
what were you saying?
was good. Like I like Naruto
It was.
concurrently, but right now I've been seeing. It's funny that you were a Naruto fan. I've been seeing a lot more people. This is like a common archetype of a reformed
I never talk about
Naruto
it though. I
mega
never
fan.
talk about Naruto.
Yeah, it was like on TikTok, there's a bunch of videos you can search it where people are like, I used to be the biggest Naruto fan. I used to shit on One Piece. Then I gave it a chance, and now I see the like it's literally like a bunch of people, and now they have decent followings because they were Naruto people, and then they tried One Piece,
Uh-huh.
and then they just like got like like existential crisis because like
Because of Boruto, holy smokes.
no, don't bring up Boruto. No, no, not talking about Boruto. I was memeing Brago. Brago tweeted. I think it was Brago. Someone tweeted about it, and I was like, "Wait, he was tweeting about Naruto," and I was just like, "Wait, Boruto's dad has a show." I was like,
I
memeing.
saw that. I think I saw that.
It's
I was
so
about to
funny.
like it, but I mean, I was like, let me not antagonize them. They don't get mad at me.
Yo, if you endorse it, that then people will be like, "Yo, Par's
They'll get so
serious."
angry. Yeah, I'm like, let me not, because I don't want Party to get attacked if I like
I
reply or like,
appreciate that. You were looking out for me. So then okay, because the I think the other part of this is when people think of like One Piece content creators, they think like YouTuber, right? Like I think that's kind of
yeah.
like most, but there's like people with 1 million subs on TikTok, for example.
TikTok is massive. I remember the first time I saw TikTok, I was like, what in the world? I tried to use that platform for a minute, but I ended up leaving.
Yeah,
But there were people over there who had like they would get like it's like there was this one guy I forgot his name, but he had 100K on TikTok. I'm like, that's so
yeah,
much.
yeah. It's
I
a
think
lot.
TikTok just has like a bigger user base than Twitter. There's more people over there than Twitter, I think.
Something like that. But I
What
always
do you
find it
think?
interesting when people have like only One Piece, and then you're in a spot on Twitter, there's a lot of people talking about One Piece and stuff like that. But even then, like some of the creators, they talk about basketball, they talk about this. You're literally like
Yeah,
One Piece. That's it.
I have to stick to One Piece. I
So when
have to
did
because
that start though? Like when did that start for you? Like what arc? When did like I don't even know when you started on Twitter. I don't know how deep this runs.
so I remember back in like I want to say 2018
Uh huh.
on Twitter, there was never like really accounts that were like dedicated to like talking about One Piece that were like individual accounts. It was always like, these accounts that were like Monkey D. Luffy or something like that. And then you like these were like the popular accounts back in like 2018 that I would see because I
Mm-hmm.
was like in a group chat with all of them because I was trying to like kind of like talk about One Piece and like get viral content for One Piece on Twitter. And everyone who was in there, they weren't like people like me. They weren't like Geo who talks about One Piece. They were like Monkey D. Luffy who talks about One Piece. It was like someone who was embodying the character and saying what they say. Because back then, that's like how like all the popular accounts on
Oh.
Twitter were. So I remember like all of them. I was in a group chat with them. There was this one guy. His name was like Flame King Sabo, and then he would tweet like Sabo pictures and like I guess it was like more of those kind of
Like
accounts. It
digital
wasn't like
cosplaying.
yeah, basically, and
Huh.
they would literally be their characters. But there wasn't
That's
really that many people who would like be themselves and then like just like tweet about a series basically.
see that
But
like
now those people are everywhere though, for the most
yeah, I
part.
was gonna say that's cool. I haven't interacted with that recently. I was told about that, but I didn't know where or when that was. But like I could like that's cool, but I could also see how that could be like like that can be kind of difficult as far as like a like conversing, right? Like you're saying.
Yeah.
Um
I saw it recently, but then they stopped doing it. To where like they were so deep with it where they were like they would literally pretend to be the characters, you know?
hmm.
So it'd be like Zoro is like, I got lost on some stupid shit like that where it's like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's a, I you know like yeah, I got to be fair with it. It's like it, if that there's a negative connotation to that, is it worse than ZKK? Right? Like ZKK is kind of crazy.
No, ZKK was way worse. I
Oh,
think that
so you would
that
know.
section. Yeah, I was actually in that group for a minute. That's like a lot of people don't even know that about me.
Ooh,
I was
you're like a
in I
reformed
was in that.
ZKK, or
Yeah,
you're
I
like
had
an
to
op.
leave. No, I was a part of their group, but I had to leave. I just abandoned it, the whole theory and everything.
I heard bits like Jay told me on stream some lore about all that, and like
I think you know who Fiji is. I think
yeah,
Fiji was in there. There was a lot of us who were in there.
yeah,
That was
yeah,
like 2019 or like I really believe that, but I had to just drop it because as like in terms of like where Onigashima was going, I'm like this isn't going to happen.
yeah.
When Roof Piece initially happened, I was really deep into it, but I was like, there's no way at this point. Like Zoro's fighting a whole different character now. Yeah,
Um,
Radman, not Fiji, Radman. I'm sorry.
yeah, when people call him Fiji, like that's his old name, and I got
Yeah,
the gist of the rebrand. But the yeah, like Chad says, ZKK isn't a bad theory. I don't think like theories are necessarily bad, but like the energy around it was the problem,
it was
not the
very
thing.
negative. Yeah, that's how
Yeah,
Zoro fans are though. If you Zoro fans are like the worst, and this is ironic because I'm a Zoro profile picture.
yeah.
But if you look on Twitter and see who the most toxic fan base is, Zoro fans are always number one. Those
So,
guys are crazy
okay, so this is a
every
fun
time.
conversation that I wanted to have. Was I wanted you to like in terms of One Piece, people say like not necessarily. I don't want to do the fandom thing because you have a little bit of bias, but like negativity. I've heard so many people say like One Piece's community is super negative, and then I'm like, if you're like, I feel like you have to like look for it, but in or interact with it. But
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of curious what you think are the. You already said ZKK, but like, what are the next two like toxic things? Like, like if you go to tweet something, right, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be a problem, and it's One Piece related.
Okay.
What would it
So
be?
the most toxic thing I think that you could possibly do about One Piece, it definitely involves the whole Yamato gender debate.
Oh, I mean
That
that's
one goes
different though.
crazy every
Yeah,
time.
that's just because it's not okay. So like that people talk about it with to me
I don't even
too.
do that no more.
Yeah, for me, like it's not that no dialogue. It's just like that conversation. The reason why it's toxic is because it's this isn't the appropriate space to have that dialogue, right? Like you
Yeah,
can't. It's a nuanced conversation
you
where it's
gotta
like,
like tiptoe around it. You don't want to make anyone angry, but it's Twitter, so they're gonna get mad at the fact that you're tiptoeing around it. You know.
yeah, and everything needs to have a conversation, but that one, it's like it's an important one, and it's a careful one, and there's a lot of weight to it, and it's like, so we shouldn't expect us to be able to talk about it through text messages. Like, I don't know about you guys, but if you guys have
Right.
relationships
Hop on
with
a voice call.
yeah, if you have a relationship
Yeah,
with
that would
significant
go.
other, don't hash it out through text. Like
No,
talk it
that
out.
exactly. You have to.
So
It's
like,
a whole different vibe, you know?
yeah. So that, I wouldn't, the Yamato one, like I can understand why that's toxic, because it's not the right place or time or whatever. Like, you need to be
Yeah,
more courteous. It's a disservice to talk about human rights in that context on Twitter like
exactly.
that, right? So
Yeah.
outside of that, Zoro, what other things?
In terms of like toxic discussions or just
Yeah, like
discussions
like
that lead to
like
toxicity.
you're typing, right? Like you're
Uh-huh.
typing,
Something that
and
okay, well
you
we
sit there.
already talked about this, but basically just me comparing One Piece to any other series, that's a big one too. Like if
Mm,
I say, I don't even really do it that much because people they just get too angry about it. So I kind of stopped doing that. They say you're sitting at One Piece or whatever. So I kind of slowed down with that. But basically, they will always get a lot of interactions though. But the whole Gear 5 Super Saiyan, that thing that
yeah.
always gets people upset. That's like another really really big one.
So then what's
Um,
after that one? I have a where does this
you
rank?
have an idea? Wait,
Mihawk versus Shanks.
oh yeah, that I feel like that's like that's another one. Uh, that I feel like it's not that toxic though. It's just
Really?
like any like
Wait.
toxicity for me is like what brings in the people who don't normally be like under my post. Cause like normally I like recognize all the names. But like whenever I talk about like a different series that's not One Piece, you get those people that are like for that series, like like that's like they're like a part of that fandom. So they come in
Ah,
and they're angry because they don't watch One Piece, and they're like, "Who is this loser? Attacking Boruto or Dragon Ball or JJK or whatever." And
I got
for the most part,
it.
yeah.
So that's an interesting thing, because I think a lot of people would say like the Mihawk Shanks debate is very toxic, right? But
I mean,
you're
it
not.
probably is toxic, but for me, I'm probably so used to it. I'm like Magellan is like, don't
That's what
poison me."
I was gonna say, because you're on Twitter, or are we supposed to, like? Am I supposed to call it like? What do you call it? X?
I call it Twitter. X is never gonna work. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't see myself just saying X like like
Yeah. Yo, you follow me
it,
on X?
it's so,
Yikes.
yeah, it sounds so weird too. Like what is that?
Yeah. So like, because you're in the, no offense, the gutter, right? Like, I think that's fair, right? With Twitter, like,
Yeah,
um
the cesspool.
you've become tolerant of, like,
I think
you're
that's what
like an
it is.
anime character who's like
Yeah.
immune to poison for some reason. It's like, why isn't this affecting him? It's not stopping this man. It's because
And then
he's,
like you already, and every time the same person always wins. Like if I ever do a Shanks versus Mihawk battle, I think Shanks is gonna win like 9 times out of 10 because he's just more popular than Mihawk.
yeah.
People vote for who's popular for them whenever it comes to like power skill and stuff on Twitter, which is why I kind of slowed down with that. They just vote for who they like more. They don't even care about anything that actually like power skill and wise in terms of like feats in the series. If you do a poll, people go for who they like more, like 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, that makes
That's
that makes
why. That's
sense,
why.
right?
Every time I've ever done a power scaling poll with Kid, he has always lost. It doesn't matter who he's against. I'm like, it's because y'all don't like him. That's why he loses.
Do you
He
like
lost
Kid?
to Buggy. I love Kid.
Oh wait, you love Kid. I remember after the reaction, you changed your bio or whatever, right?
I was so upset whenever Shanks one-shotted him. I didn't want to believe it would possibly happen.
God. Oh wait.
But Kid is so deep in like in the gutters in terms of like One Piece characters. Like from a community perspective, he's just so down. Like I don't know how Oda could bring him back up. I feel like he might as well just like leave him like that because the redemption arc required for Kid to be like a fan favorite is ridiculous. I feel like people like him right now, but it's
Yeah.
just it's really like it's like It's
The
just really bad.
anime kid fandom is crazy because kid in the anime looks dope. Like, you know what I
He
mean? But
does.
in the
He does.
manga,
I love him in the anime.
we can't. It's difficult to see all of that stuff, and like, even if
Yeah.
you're cognizant of it, at the end of the day, right? Like, you can't trust Toei. Like, we didn't know that they would give Kid what the Zoro treatment, right? You know what I mean? Like, the
I
Zoro
know
treatment.
one of the animators, his name is Henry Thurlow. I remember
Yeah,
he was always saying that he was going to do Kid justice. And he did, I
true.
think, in episode 1066 because normally with Kid in the anime, they have to do him with like the CGI because they have difficulty animating his metal. Because it's
Yeah,
like it's I guess it's so much for them to
it's
animate,
really
and I'm
hard.
not an animator, so I don't want to tell them. Yeah, it's very difficult. It's kind of similar to Kaido, but he had Henry spent I think he spent like almost a year working on that episode, just that one episode.
Trying to get
So
the
he
stuff
managed
right.
to
Yeah,
get it right, yeah. And I think it looked pretty good. I think he did Kid justice, but just thinking about how much time you need for Kid, to like get him looking good is crazy.
yeah.
And
No,
then drawing him for Oda, like I can't imagine how hard it is to draw him too. Like that, all that metal, like Punk Gibson, it has to be crazy to draw a Kid.
yeah. You look at One Piece and you're like, yo, like someone hand drew this. That's something about Oda. He hand does everything, which is like, bro, like
Yeah,
it's
that's what I'm thinking.
difficult.
I think just because like the difficulty required with animating him and drawing him, I'm thinking maybe he is finished because he is a very difficult character to just have in a series. I
So
guess it depends on if Oda wants to keep doing that or not.
here's the thing, though, right? Before it happened, and be honest, I know, the Twitter hands are working right now, but before Kid got knocked out, right? Was
Uh-huh.
it that you couldn't fathom Shanks being so strong that he could do that, or was it that you thought that Kid Oda like Kid was going to be an important enough character to stay and you really wanted him to stay and the want oversaw like your vision of Shanks? What was it? Because I think that's where a lot of
I was
people are different. There's some people who just didn't think that Shanks was that strong, and that's why people come at the Kid people like that, because they were like, Shanks, who's Shanks? And it's like, whoa, hold on, we can't say that about Shanks. But on the flip side, I can see why it's like, yeah, like, I knew a lot of people that knew Shanks was going to be really strong, but then at the same time, it's like, but Kid is kind of like, isn't he like Oda kind of likes him, right? Like, well, what's going on here? You know what I mean? So where were you at before that?
I was I was more on the side where whenever Kid had initially came into Shank's territory on Elbaf,
Mm-hmm.
I was afraid for him because I'm like this was my whole thing. People said I was coping, but I'm like he fought Shanks before in the past, right? So he should know how to approach him.
With an
And
asterisk.
then yeah, with an asterisk because it turns out he didn't fight Shanks. He fought Ben Beckman. I'm like, oh no, you haven't even fought him before, and you're moving with this much confidence.
That was the
That's so crazy.
you.
And then I think and it's crazy because I feel like he got really lucky on the rooftop because if you watch the anime, they made it seem like Kid and Killer were going up there with no idea that Luffy, Law, and Zoro will be there at the same time that they all got there like all together. So they planned on
Mm.
going up there and two v twoing Big Mom and Kaido, which is literally suicide. They got lucky. And I'm
Wait.
like, they're gonna try to get lucky again against Shanks. You can't get lucky twice. Like
Oh,
lightning,
I
and they,
didn't.
they didn't get lucky. Like Shanks he's like, yo, who are these? But no, let me not say that. Let me not disrespect Kid.
No, no. Listen. Beforehand, I had a theory. It
Don't work
was
on his dad.
my Godfather Shanks theory. In that video, I threw strays at a Kid. It was a long time before. It was chapter
I think I
uh
remember that. I remember you talking about this
on your
on
stream.
streams and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. That one's always my favorite video to talk about because that one was the one I saw so many people react to because they decide, oh, Shanks
Yeah,
video, let me react to this, whether it was on Twitter,
you
Twitch,
don't see
wherever.
that many Shanks videos.
Yeah, and so then people like I scripted that one to make people upset. Like it's literally written in there like you're probably upset right now, and they're like, yeah, I am, and I'm like, good, that's what I meant to do. But in that. there was like a little bit of comedic relief where I pointed out that Kid never said he fought Shanks. He said he fought the crew, and I was like, I don't think he even saw Shanks. And I
I
in
hate that that came true. I hate it so much. I hate it so much.
and
I was like, there's no way he didn't see Shanks. He's a captain of his own crew. He at least saw the captain.
I
He didn't. I hated that so much.
I remember
But
having to
I'm
scream.
happy that that monster didn't take his arm. I
That's
hated
the thing.
people would say monster took. They would literally harass me with that. Kid, what is it?
That was
Monster took his arm. Monster took his arm. Like the monkey did not take his arm.
I'm not gonna say
Oh my god.
I was the only one, but I might have been one of the earlier people because I had a stream after that Godfather ones because that one was crazy because I made that video. That video was supposed to come out 8 months prior, but I was just so delayed life, whatever, and it's a 50-minute video that I
Yeah.
had to edit, right?
I couldn't imagine doing that, making like the super long One Piece theory video like that.
Oh
That has to be
yeah.
so much work.
Once you do one though, it's so hard to not, and I know so many other creators who know that feeling, but when I finally, because the break month came, I had the time to
Mhm.
make the video, and the video that the day it dropped was the same day Shanks came back in the manga, so I didn't even have that
Ooh, I feel
information.
like that's perfect timing.
Yeah, it was crazy. So then I did a stream afterwards, and that was a huge thing. They're like, a lot of people were like, yo, that was so disrespectful towards Kid, because at the time the huge debate then was Law versus Kid, who's stronger. I don't know, like you probably know how that
Oh,
was.
I know. People were literally just saying, "Wow, destroying Kid."
Yeah,
Kid
yeah.
was never in a position where he was like popular enough to to win like that many polls. He's such a weird character.
And so I inserted that thing, people like were saying like, oh, Kid fought Shanks. And I was like, I put that in knowing that people would use it for that debate. And in the stream, I was saying like, listen, from this line, he could have lost his arm to Monster for all we know. It could have
Oh
just
my
been the monkey.
god! I'm glad Oda didn't do that. At least it was Ben Beckman.
Well, hey, based off the lines, it's implied that it was Ben Beckman.
Oh no!
It's implied it could still be.
I hope it was Ben Beckman.
After the fact, after we saw what happened to Kid, please let Ben Beckman take the credit, because Kid doesn't need more disrespect, right? Like
He doesn't. He's already like literally in the dirt, you know, at the bottom of the sea. Oda put his flashback in the SBS. That destroyed him.
wait, on Twitter, like, how did that make you feel when like that? Because
I,
that's where the SBS is dropped first. It's not on YouTube, it's not on TikTok,
was
it's on
it?
Twitter.
What did Oda put his flashback in the SBS before he got one shotted, or was it
Yeah, it was
after the
before.
shit?
It was people thought that he was
Oh,
gonna
so
die because it was.
yeah. When he did that, I think that's when I knew something was going on, because it's like, oh, why is he doing this? Why is he giving us Kid whole flashback in the SBS? Something bad is about to happen. You know, it's like the calm before the storm. So
Yeah.
that's when I immediately I tried to wrap everything up. I'm like, yo, I don't support this character no more. It's not my favorite character. My new favorite character is now Zoro again, like it used to be. Stop associating me with his character in general. And then maybe like 2 or 3 chapters later, he just got bodied by Shanks.
Yeah,
And
because
then it was still good. I was still getting like cooked for it, because I was the only guy on like all of Twitter, it seemed like, who really supported Kid, because everyone was against him for some reason.
someone on that stream where I reacted to the
You,
what
Mike Kelly.
1079, someone forwarded me a video of you changing your your bio. I was like, and that was like closer to time where we
There was
were.
a video.
Yeah, it was a video of you going edit, delete. I was like,
Oh
because I
my
was
god.
memeing, I was roasting everybody, and then like Kid, I wasn't like talking specifically, and then one of my I guess like one of my mods or members sent me the video, and it was you, and
I remember
I was like,
Jay had one of the funniest streams with that. Jay and Cole, they were loving that. Oh
yeah,
my gosh, that's
uh,
because both of them hate they hate Kids, so they were basking in. I think Virgo was too, if I'm
yeah.
not
Virgo is
mistaken.
here talking about
I
that.
see him in the chat.
Yeah. He came in saying he was on the toilet. I'm like, damn, bro, you
Oh
didn't need
my
to tell us
god,
that. You didn't need
that's
to say
definitely
that.
Virgo.
But yeah, that's it was I forget where we started. Oh, the toxic parts of the internet and like the Shanks and Mihawk thing. I was gonna say I feel
Yeah.
like the toxic parts of that conversation. It for me, what I always end up seeing, and I have I script out a video of Shanks Mihawk thing, and all I did was tweet out like I'm gonna talk about it, bro.
Ooh,
So
that's such a very a touchy subject.
and I
I don't think I would ever make a video about Shanks about Mihawk
I'm
versus
gonna
Shanks.
make it, but the thing is, my point of the video was like, yo, I know why that like the Mihawk fans number one, whatever, because at the end of the day, people what spawned out of that conversation was Fraud Hawk. Like, you know what I mean? You can't defend like Shanks could be number
Fraud
one
Hawk.
and then Mihawk could be number two. He doesn't have to be Fraud Hawk. But if I was a Mihawk fan and I was confronted
That's
with
what they
Fraud
do.
Hawk, then I have to now go say no, Shanks is a fraud. That's just how it goes. And that's just
They
how
both got like allegations against them.
yeah, and I'm
Both
just
of
like,
them.
so
Did
we
Mihawk
can't.
paint his sword?
What is wait, but you, this one was also funny because on Twitter, this is why I love Twitter also because people are on there, like the live actors are on there,
I
and
remember that. I thought just yeah, the live action actor. That
the
was
actor
so
for
funny.
Mihawk had the meme of Mihawk painting his sword on. I don't even know
The
if it was a
Mihawk
meme.
fans were they were I think it's a meme. He had like it as his profile picture. They were so angry.
No,
I
but
saw
what I mean
someone
is
go
like,
make a petition to get him to change his picture. I'm like, is it that serious though? Is this for fun? Like, good lord.
that
He's
shit
like,
was
please
so
sign this
funny.
petition to get the live action actor to change his profile picture from Mihawk painting his sword. I'm
Yeah,
like, what?
no, so I don't know what the meme picture is. I just looked at that. I was like, "Yo, this is aesthetic. Like, this is like it looks like he had
It's
this
so funny.
commissioned. Like there's a
I
meme,
wonder if he did.
and he's just like, "No, I'm paying somebody for this image to stir shit up." And I think he knew what he was doing. Right? He knew what he. I don't know if he tweeted about it or afterwards or anything about that. He knew what he was doing. That's
Yeah,
such a in that's such a
I think he got a ton of followers from that too.
that's such a brain rot, like you know what I mean, like that's a brain, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I have brain rot, we all have brain rot, right? Like that, he's one of us though, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would do if I was him. I would do the same thing because it's bringing people to your page. Like people, so like there's so many like live action actors who are like super like on the low that are just on Twitter. They don't have that much of a buzz. And I'm
Yeah,
like, if you like do something like what he did, people are gonna jump. Maybe it's easier for him because he's like literally Mihawk. I guess it depends on what character you are, but there's ways to get people like people's attention. I remember before he did that, that guy had like 2K followers. And like I think like the week after he had like 18K.
damn,
Like he jumped up like no tomorrow because people like they like knew who he was after that.
that's interesting. Wait, but I need to know about like Twitter a little bit more. Is that hate following? Is that a thing? Is that like, do
I don't
people?
think it's I have no idea. If people hate follow, it's probably like 80% of followers if I had to guess.
Yeah, I was just
I
because
don't think people hate follow, they just block you.
like on other YouTube, Twitch, like people
They,
hate
they gotta
watch,
block a lot of people. I don't think
but they don't hate follow. On
Oh
TikTok they hate
yeah.
follow, but they don't hate like,
They do
yeah, on TikTok
on
there's
TikTok?
hate following. Hate follow is like a huge thing that like I don't personally have that because I don't do power scaling,
So
but
what?
the yeah, because they need to know
Oh, so
what the
they'll
people are
follow you, then
saying.
they'll hate in your comments.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm like,
Maybe I do have that here then. Maybe.
yeah, like on
On
Twitter,
TikTok.
I would imagine it's even easier to do because like you could follow a lot of people and it's not necessarily gonna ruin your feed, but it's just a weird thing. But direction I wanted to go in towards was we were talking about the negative things, and I see some of the super chats, and hey, the bits is perfect. What I wanted to ask you was like, what are three like what are three topics on One Piece that like you love to see on your timeline, and then just One Piece in general? Yeah, like you see it, it's just like
I
an instant smile or something like that. What was something that brings the serotonin?
I love the thing I love the most. I think I love whenever like a chapter releases and everyone's just like talking about the chapter all at once. I love
Mm,
that. That always brings us. That always brings a smile. Cause like you get to see the different ideas, the different takes, the different like perspectives that everyone has. Whether people like it or they hate it, and then but you have to be careful about it to not spoil people. Of course, I
Right.
be trying not to spoil people. But it's like always wait until like as soon as TCB drop, I'm like, yo, I saw it, I saw it. At this point, it's up to you to learn how to avoid spoilers. I'm about to start posting immediately.
Yeah.
Um,
I just ask
that
people to put the hashtag like chapter at the beginning, then I read it. Don't read it. You know what I mean? Because I'm on Twitter
exactly.
when the thing sometimes I'm there because like people are in the DMs, like, right? So it's occasionally it
Uh-huh.
comes up, and then like you know on sometimes like I'll see a One Piece thing and I'll just see the hashtag. I'm like, good. I don't know how to read that one. But obviously
Yeah.
the safest thing is just not be on it if you're not gonna you know
Yeah.
interact with it.
To
So
not be
new
on it.
chapter. What about Time Lord sent over bits, and I think this is a good conversation because right now this is a surprise that like made me come to Twitter to see more of. I was super busy this week. A lot of like not necessarily the happiest stuff because I'm like I don't. It took me away from writing videos and doing my normal
Mhm.
stuff, and but then it seeped in like to my news the live action stuff, and so Time
Oh
Lord
yeah.
Time Lord asked,
Live
he
action.
said, thoughts on the live action. Speaking of, which characters are you looking forward to seeing the casting of in the future should the series continues? For me, it's got to be Robin. Whoever does Robin has to have good emotional range, playing a heartless villain who learns to show her emotion. So that's I would love to see Robin, but as far as like the live action conversation, what do you like? How does that like change Twitter for you for like One Piece? Because now I imagine there's like a lot of new people, like hype,
Yeah.
negativity. How does that going?
I think that whenever the live action first got announced, there
Yeah.
was like a lot of like, of course people were being like overly negative towards it. I think the trailer for it got like what was it, 33K dislikes, some crazy. Yeah, it got a lot of dislikes.
Mm,
But I don't know if you've seen recently, but recently like the perception against with it has been so positive. Like people are really like I guess like critics and like reviewers,
yeah.
they're really like loving the live action. But if there's a character if there's a character or arc that I really do want to see in the live action, I would say it gotta be Skypiea, so I can see what actually happened in that arc, so I can find out how everything.
I was like, where's he going with this? Wait, he hasn't. Wait, what? Nah, that
No, let me be serious.
yo. If they do
I think
Skypiea 8 episodes, hell,
can they do
that's
that in eight
crazy.
episodes? With that, I feel like that would work. You think
Mm,
8 episodes work for Skypiea?
what I mean, the length of these episodes are what, like an hour, right? Yeah, they could do.
I
They could
think
do
they're
Skypiea. They could do it. Yeah, yeah, 100%. If they
yeah,
ran through all of East Blue, and people are saying that it's good, and so like to give you guys context, if you guys aren't aware,
in that season
um,
4.
the live action comes out at the end of the month, August 31st. So that's next
I'm
week.
so excited.
And so prior to these releases, they do a media release. So now a bunch of critics and press and whatever, they have access to the episodes, and some people have watched all 8 episodes. And these are people who watch anime adaptations, they watch all like these mediums. They don't
Right.
watch much anime. A lot of them don't watch anime, and uh there's a mixture of people who have and don't and whatever, and the consensus is essentially if there was ever an anime adaptation that was wanted, this is it. This is exactly it. Every single one that I've seen probably like
It's just
12 different people.
positive. Yeah, like I'm like, what is this? I want to see where it debuts at on like Rotten Tomatoes. I want to see the percentage. Even though people they don't hold that review outlet to like high regard. I just want to see because if it has a high percentage, that's gonna be incredible for live action. I think, and I think it will because everyone's being positive about it. Like, who doesn't like it?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
someone just gifted memberships.
yeah. Shout outs to AIM PDX, goaded
Holy
in the
smokes!
community, 10 gifted memberships. I appreciate you. And it's great. AIM always does this because I was just about to shout out a members only video that I made it. That sounds crazy. It's not OnlyFans, guys. That's coming soon. But with the I have a video. It's a video. My take on the live action. I actually just had Joy Boy Theories watch it because he tweeted something about it, about the live action, about him covering it, not covering it, and I told him like, you know, I just didn't want to message
I
him
think
on
everyone
Twitter.
should cover it. If you're a
Uh,
One Piece creator, cover it 100%.
so I had a different take a little bit because you know, specifically with Joy Boy and me and how we like view stuff, and in that video, I had a lot of different things said, but one of the main things that I said was that I think the most detrimental part of the of for the live action, the worst thing going for the live action might actually end up being the most passionate fans that read the manga, that have had this story for
Mm,
25 years or whatever. I'm in that boat. I didn't have the manga, but the One Piece has been with me for that long. And when you like, it's one thing to be passionate, but then there's another thing to like, you've been with it for a quarter of a goddamn century, right? You
it's been
care
around for
about it.
so long. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You can't you can't manage someone's like feelings for something that's been there for that long. That's so difficult. And it's going to you know, at the end of the day, we gravitated towards the manga. So it's like if we care for this series, then in like being critical in this space might not be the most productive thing. We can have our criticisms, but we also, especially as the creators, have a better pipeline to voice our thing. And so that's something I said at the end of the video, is that I think like, you know, everyone's going to have their say. There's no reason to like, you know, gatekeep what that is. My point was,
Right.
it's like, yo, like I was super critical at the end of it, and Joy Boy saw it and he's like, "Yo, I agree." And then what happened was in the trailer, not the trailer, the full trailer, the Gomu Gomu powers are complete. They looked completely fine as opposed to the
I
teaser.
saw
Teaser
that.
was a little issue, and laid down as all my thoughts on it, and then compared the anime, compared to the manga, and that's some brain like that's some crazy thing for someone to do, right? But at the end of the day, that's what
Uh-huh.
they're doing on the studio side. That's
That's
what
what they're. Yeah, and that's what the fans are gonna do as well. Like the first big things like people complaining about was like Luffy's sandals. Why is he wearing shoes? That's
and
what people.
and
I'm like, it's because Anaki don't want to hurt his feet on set. Like that can't be comfortable.
yeah, and but at the end of the day, how many people are gonna, as a first reaction, or like all these people are saying it's awesome, right?
Hmm.
Are they looking at the shoes and be like, "Yo, where were the sandals?" Right? They don't know about the
Yeah,
sandals,
right. They don't have that context.
but they
And
will know about the sandals because if they fall in love with it, they're gonna watch the series and then they're gonna be like, "Yo, wait, hold on, where were the sandals at?" I get it, you know what I mean? And that's a better way to go about it, right? Rather than throw it in their
yeah.
face beforehand. Hold on,
Uh-huh.
give me a second. Take over the chat. I'm gonna mute real quick. My wife's here.
Okay. Yo, what's good, everybody? Can y'all hear me? The live action better be peak because if not, they will never be able to live it up. Yeah, that's true. W aim but L accuracy.
All right, I'm
Manga
good.
and anime fans. Yo, welcome back.
Yeah,
I was just
yeah.
reading some of this stuff.
Nah. Thank you for that.
Geo stream, you fraud. Oh my god.
Um, so like
Oh,
the
that's Clutchy. What's up, Clutchy? Oh, Nakeem. See some of these guys in here from Twitter.
oh,
Nakeem and Clutchy.
love to see that when
Peace.
you see the
Yeah.
names that you get.
I didn't think anyone from Twitter would pull up. I'm surprised. That's cool. I
Yeah,
appreciate
with
y'all being
the
here.
that's a cool thing about Twitter too. Like I think Jay and Brago, they were like they were pulling names from like years ago and they remembered them. And I was like, "Yo, that's so wild. You haven't interacted with them in so long, but you remember their names. Like that's such a it's a cool thing to have, you know, especially in something as random as like a anime, right?" So,
Yeah.
um but yeah, you know, with the whole live action thing, um what people don't realize is that everybody on the studio is an insane One Piece fan. And that to me speaks more than people realize, because what does every crackhead One Piece fan do when they're caught up with the manga? They're on Twitter, they're on YouTube, they're
And
watching
they
the
start pushing
videos.
agendas. Exactly. You
The
wanna when I caught up, I wanted to figure out. I remember. I don't know if you know who this guy is. There was a YouTuber a long time ago. I don't know if he still makes content, but his name was Black Leg Vinsmoke.
oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
You know who that guy is?
I've
When I
heard of him,
first
yeah.
caught up to One Piece, I used to watch all of his videos, and I used to watch Joy Boy, all of their videos. I'm like, yo, I want to know all the theories, all the ideas, and it blew my mind because it One Piece runs so deep, like the
Hmm.
theory community, and I'm like, Oda has to be like purposely like littering out content, like just slightly for people to like pick it up, make like whole. The fact that people can make channels behind this series is crazy. It
Yeah.
have like this much of a following only like off of like making theory content. That's so crazy to me.
And when you like, so like you're saying, you did that, a lot of people do that, and to the point where people have whole entire channels that are just One Piece talking about it's almost to the point where it's like you can recognize like, yo, this is like a new thing I never even knew, and I love this series. I've read about it.
Yeah.
Most of us didn't skip Skypiea, so the Skypiea stuff isn't new, but like,
Yeah, I love Skypiea.
I put out a video about Skypiea, and people who said they love Skypiea, it's like, yo, I never noticed that. And I have another one that a lot of, I don't think, like 99% of people probably never even entertain the idea of what I'm going to talk about later, but it's too difficult to explain in this conversation. But my point is like, that means that all these studio people are watching the videos, are on Twitter, on these things, and so it's meaningful to have the conversation because they see it. And so on the
Right.
content creator side, as far
Like
as the studio and the showrunners and those things, they pay attention. Like, I can't,
right.
there's some things I can say, and there's some things I can't say, but what I can say is when I met Matt Owens, the showrunner,
Matt
right?
Owens is the one. He's the big one because he was like at the Reverie and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's so crazy that he's at the Reverie.
So
That's insane.
it's insane, right? And then on top of that, Emily Rudd and Matt Owens stayed up with us at a bar in the middle of New York City talking One Piece till like 4 a.m. Like that's just insane, right? Like Emily Rudd was there, and you can see it in all of her whenever she does, like they do the cast reacts
You
to like
can,
Google questions. You can tell she's a One
yeah.
Piece fan.
You can always tell the One Piece fans because we're always so passionate about the series.
Yeah, yeah. And so Matt, when I first met him, like in the context where we could talk, he said, "I love your Mihawk as a sword video," and he quoted
Oh, I love
statements.
that one. I love that one too. That's really great. I think I posted about that on Twitter a while ago.
It
Was it Mihawk as a sword or let me double check.
Yeah, I
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
I
I
was
think I got like
polar.
I love that one. And I love your other theory. Was it the shadows theory?
Oh, I'm
Was that
remaking.
you?
I'm at now that we got the anime, the episodes. Oh
Uh
my
huh.
god, dude! Did you like?
Oh
So
yeah, I
I
found
think
it.
in my shadows theory, I say like, um, when Luffy goes giant, I say that it might be, we don't get it in the manga, but it might be because on the cloud his shadow is huge, and so he sees his huge self and he manifests that and all that stuff, the whole shadows thing. And in
Hmm.
the anime, they built that up like crazy. I don't know if you saw that scene, but they literally flash a shadow up on those clouds, and then he
Oh,
comes out of it giant,
with the giant Gear 5.
which is literally like my fan fiction from the theory. I was like, because that's not in the manga. I was like, if they in the anime they might do that, and then they did that. And when I saw it and I live react, I was like, they they did it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I
So
remember I
like,
got they were trying to slander me for that. They're like, Gio, this is a Skypiea reference, right? I'm like, no, it's not. Y'all just
it is a
saying.
Skypiea reference.
And it is. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't
Yo,
catch a break.
yeah, yeah.
One thing that I would say for certain is that I was always well in the past when I would say like Skypiea has no like current relevance on the story. That's just not true. Based on how things are today, Skypiea is like a very very important arc.
Which is hilarious because you have the meme that you didn't read it, but at the
I
end of the day,
know
that's
it
my thing.
is.
My thing is
It's a very important arc.
so like, okay, like, I think everybody here will understand what I'm saying. I haven't been able to like put it in the right words in the comment section of some of these videos, but like, you know how like being a manga reader, right? There's so many theories because we look at like the panels so in depth, and
Hmm.
like we're like, oh my god, this like pixel Oda drew, and that means something, right? Like we look in deep, super deep, and sometimes it's meaningful, sometimes it's not. The wording, all that stuff, right? Whereas the anime viewers, they don't necessarily look at One Piece that same way. They don't look at like they don't study like scenes like
Like
that.
the kanji.
Yeah, they can't.
Yeah, or
They
like yeah.
and so I put out like very like simple, like everybody in the manga community has heard like the resin theory, but even backing up
I
like
remember
how
that.
the Frankie's t-shirt, I don't know if you remember, like the Hito foreshadow because he had the
I
sun.
saw that on Twitter. I saw that. I'm like, where did this come from? That's so crazy. Was that your theory initially?
No, it wasn't mine, but my shorts was basically like when these things happened, this is like some of the stuff the manga community went to, and it's not just us, it's like the Japanese community, right? And people are like, oh, that's a stretch, all this stuff. These are baseline stuff. Like I could guarantee
The
like
Hito,
nine
the Frankie shirt thing, that cannot be a stretch. That's so on the nose. Like
ru-
if you just, I'm like, this is literally like what it is though. Like it literally is like human. It's like a sun.
and the thing is, the reason why it's a stretch for the anime people is because they don't get cover stories, they don't get SBSs, they don't get that stuff where
Yeah.
Oda is literally like, this is how his thoughts are, like like this pattern, this is how he hit it, the like Miss Double Finger. Do you know why she's named Miss Double Finger or whatever?
No,
Do you remember
I
what
have
who
no
I'm
idea.
talking about from Alabasta?
The girl from Alabasta. Yeah.
So Baroque's works is Baroque's works. Baroque's is a type of Baroque works is a type of music genre that like existed before whatever. Oda was giving an
Baroque.
allusion to yeah, and an allusion to that. And so he wanted all the characters to be like very expressive and out there, like very accentuated. That's why he
Mhm.
named them that. And then that's when you get like Miss the naming scheme, like Bon Clay, everybody's like super out there. Like Mr. Three has a three on his head, like all that stuff, right? But when it
Yeah.
came to the name scheme for the like all the female agents, they were like Miss All Sunday, Miss Golden Week, Miss all that stuff. Those names were all holidays in Japan. And then someone asked like,
Oh.
wait, what about Miss Double Finger? I think that's her name, Miss Double. I don't know what the fuck her name is.
That's her. I think it is.
I'm pretty sure it's a name.
I'm
I
looking it
always
up right now. Yeah, it's Miss
Yeah,
Doublefinger.
yeah, Miss Double Finger. So Miss Double Finger, if someone is like they're Japanese and like, wait, what's the how is this a holiday? And then Oda drew a picture and said Miss Double Finger because she's holding up one, and so the 1/1 is January 1st for New Year's. That's the meaning behind that name is for the New Year's
Uh,
holiday. And I'm like,
that's clever. That's so clever.
nobody like it now.
You would never know that if you didn't explain it, though. I feel
Let
like no
me
one would ever figure that out.
Right, and so like if I explain
One,
that
one.
theory, right, not theory, let me if I explain that as a theory to the anime viewers, stretch, garbage, your brain rot, whatever. And
There's
then
no way I would have thought about this.
and so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna some of my videos I'm gonna do that so that it's like hate, like the people are gonna hate watch, right? Because I've been having that like,
Uh-huh.
oh, this is stupidest. Look at these manga readers, blah blah blah. And then at the end, I'm gonna put up the SBS and be like, what were you saying? You know what I mean? Because like some of these people
Yeah.
comment in the first section. They comment in the first 10 seconds. I'm like, you
Yeah, you
dumbass,
really
you
didn't
didn't
watch
make it
it.
to the end. It's like
Yeah,
so that's my
that's
play.
still mean because like they have no idea how much work went into the content.
Yeah, and so like that's my play with some of these things, but um I forgot why I was saying, but like Oda putting these details. Where did we start off with this? Why did I mention the Frankie T-shirt
Uh,
thing? Um,
I think it was like theories.
Skypea. Sky.
I
Oh
think
oh
so.
oh oh! Now I know. You didn't watch Skypea, fine, but you also aren't
Oh,
sitting there saying
I
that
understand the value of it. Yeah.
yes. Whereas these people are coming at me like, yo, like the anime is it. I know everything about One Piece. I'm like, how are you if you know that Oda does interviews, cover stories, SBSs, like notes, you're not getting any of that. how are you gonna act like you know everything? Like, you know what I mean? But you at
You
least like,
don't.
oh
Yeah.
damn, was that in Skypiea? That's crazy. I guess I
And the,
missed that. I saw.
some of the cover stories are so important too. Like the one with Enno when he goes to the moon.
Yeah, they
That
don't.
one is
Some
so
people don't know
important.
that. It's crazy.
Like, how would you just never know that he goes there? That's so crazy to
No,
me.
someone spoil. So it's not spoilers with the cover stories, but someone was just like, man, like, man, I forgot what they wrote. They were like, I wonder what ever happened to Anel. And someone was like, he's on the moon. Can you imagine being like
just,
oblivious of that, and then someone hits
just
you with,
never
he's
knowing.
on the moon, brother?
It's in all caps. He's on the moon.
Oh my god, that's my favorite thing. But like, it's just, it's so funny to interact with it. And my point is, it's like, because when I was an anime only, I never sat there to my best friend Japanese, and he read the manga. I never sat there and be like, oh, I know more than you. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy
Right.
energy to have for anything. And so that's why I was like, I respect that. At least you didn't watch it, but it's not like you don't know that it's important. I feel
I
like
have to. I
now,
get people remind me every day on Twitter. I'm like, I understand, but they keep doing it. It's like
I
a meme at this point.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
now,
someone told me, they told me, even if you watch it, it doesn't change the fact that you skipped it. I'm like, well, what's the point then? Y'all gonna still say I'm a Skypiea skipper? Good lord.
and now I feel like you're a One Piece character now, where
I got
someone
a gag.
got a gag, like a reputation. So it's like the reputation's so strong that it's like the character can't like now you can't read it. Like, I would be mad
Yeah,
if you
and
did
that's why
watch
like
it.
yeah,
Like,
you can't escape it. I could literally watch the whole thing on like on stream or something like that, and it was still people who don't know that I watched it. They'd be like, "Ain't you gotta skip Skype?" Like without any knowledge, and you gotta remind them like, "Oh no, I watched it," but they don't really care enough. They're like, "Okay, well, you still skipped it though when you did skip it."
and it's
I'm
just
like, "Okay."
funny with now I'm just like, man, don't ever watch a Geo. Just keep it this way. This is
I love Skype. I have to love it. I know it's a great arc.
um
You can't watch any One Piece theory without Skype eventually being brought up. It's very very important.
yeah, that's, hey, see, and that
Even
acknowledgement,
when I was watching Marshall D Preach video just earlier, like I found out some new stuff about Skype that I never knew about that
the
arc. So
map,
apparently
the ancient giant on
the
the map.
yeah that I'm like what? I'd never noticed that. And another thing that I noticed is that he said in the video is that Wiper is wearing a Oars mask. I'm like
Oh yeah,
what?
yep,
Oars? Back then?
yep. The
That's
introduction.
insane. That actually is legit foreshadowing.
It's funny because the ancient giant thing, from the first person I know that I saw ever, like, when because I made a video pointing it out. It was Joe Three Skulls on Twitter, which is like,
Oh, Joe, yeah.
yeah, which is funny because like you're in the same space, so like you might
Uh-huh.
have seen this theory, but you looked at that panel and was like, what the fuck is this shit? What island is this from?
I promise I never knew that before today. I'm like, it was a giant on Skypiea back in the day. Like that makes so much sense. That's so cool.
No, that's
And then
so
it's like
funny.
Oars. Apparently, it was an Oars giant. Then it opens the question as to where did it go? Why it's not there anymore? And that's so cool. Like it just shows how deep the One Piece lore runs. You know, like
Yeah.
Oda. I don't know how long Oda's been planning this out, but I don't know how he does it. Like, how do you like foreshadow for like literally 20 years like that? He must have like I think it's the fruits of like having like the end game already in mind, so you
Yeah.
can like sort of like you can like glitter it throughout the story until you get there, and then just
Yeah.
bring everything all together. Because the Ore is the Ore is the giant race, the Oni race. That thing is gonna play a big role in actual end game of One Piece. It has to.
Yeah, like we got East Blue Drew here. Was Joy Boy a giant or is giant? Like the fact
I
that
love
that
that theory now.
conversation is from Skypiea is like crazy. But
Yeah,
as far as like, the character things, I've been as so many interviews, all this stuff. I'm doing this on purpose, actually. Like so if you guys don't know, I saw somebody's like, oh man, I'm missing the content because I haven't posted a video in a mad long. It's because I took this
I
break.
saw your last video. I liked it a lot.
Which one? Oh, the Kobe one.
The Kobe and Aokiji one.
Oh yeah, I'm
I'm
gonna do
like,
more of
I
those.
love that. I never thought about Kobe and Kuzan being like that being like his final like in-game opponent.
Yeah,
I,
after
I don't
the
want to spoil the video,
I mean,
but
you can spoil it, it's fine. But like that was the thing. Like after that chapter, that was the thought on the front of my head. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna go crazy at the end where like Kobe, like it's like they mentor. It's like the mentor thing and then the rival thing, but it's like
uh-huh.
Kobe
The
and
thing that really
Kuzan.
caught me, yeah, it makes a lot of sense because it's like those are Garp's proteges.
Yeah.
And the thing that really caught me was like when you mentioned the Katakuri Luffy parallel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense because it's like he wants to be an admiral, and he's also, showing Kuzan like how their like justices differ to where like Kuzan's lazy justice, Kobe is honest justice or whatever. And we're like,
Right.
if Kobe was in Kuzan's position, like on O'Hara, for example, he wouldn't have maybe Akainu wouldn't have did what he did. He wouldn't have been able to do that
I think
because Kobe's more
yeah.
I guess aggressive with the way that he would protect people. Because if they died on O'Hara, Kobe would probably be dead with him.
Yeah,
What do you think? Because
exactly.
he's just that kind of character.
Like the
He's a
thing
very
is,
martyr kind of character.
a lot of people in the comments were like, oh, you thought like Akainu would stop. Not like, no, Akainu would do Akainu things. But the point is, Punk Hazard would happen back then because if you put Kobe with Kuzan's power and then you get Kuzan stopping him, you can't tell me he's not powerful enough to stop Akainu. That just like we've seen it. It's it took 14 days for the thing to end, but at the end of the day, if
That's still
Kuzan
14
wanted
days.
to, right,
Yeah, that's a
attend what
long time.
like at the end of the day, it's like if Kuzan wanted to, he could have, like he could have just stopped him from like, yo, we're not blowing up this
He
place,
chose
I'm
he
stopping
chose not
everybody.
to.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't.
So
He didn't want to act upon it. He wasn't sure. It's just what's the indecisiveness, I guess,
mm-hmm,
of
mm-hmm,
his character because of the position that he's in. Kobe
yeah.
wouldn't have. He wouldn't have been like that. He would have acted. That's why I always compare Kobe. It's probably disrespectful, but I think the closest like anime character who matches Kobe's personality is Deku from My Hero Academia. They're the same character, like literally bar for bar. If you think about it, they're so similar.
You so I can spoil a few shorts, which is something that Dax here. Par is almost at 60K. Thank you guys again for support and being here. Uh, hopefully you guys are enjoying the conversation. I'm gonna get to some super chats from
I
earlier.
remember you just hit 50K like a month or was like how long was I remember you just hit 50K really recently. You're blowing up. That was like what, 2 weeks ago? I remember I was
Yeah,
yeah. That
yeah.
couldn't have been that long
It
ago.
was like
That's crazy.
last chapter reaction or something like that, where it was just like, yo, that's crazy.
That's
Oh,
10K in like a week. Holy smokes.
yeah, and so I took for people like, oh, like I'm not getting par content. Check my shorts. Again, I just showed Joy Boy Theories them, and because like they are not made for him, but he was like, yo, these are really good videos. I'm like, yeah, I took the
Yeah.
time out. So basically, I've been cooking up shorts. I'm like almost a week ahead of schedule. I'm trying to make it so that I'm a month ahead of schedule, so that there'll always be par content, even if I do have to take a break from
That's
like
good.
making the long videos. It'll all be there. And like some people are like, oh, squeezing content, but like, yo, like go
Shorts
watch
do
those
those do
videos.
numbers.
Go to those
Yeah.
videos and tell me some of these things aren't new information, because like I'm putting out some of my theories in there, but I'm also making it so that like anime people can watch it too, because it's like it's a bridge, like the anime to manga, and what I'm covering is Oda's perspectives. Like
Right.
Clutchy loves Jesus. I love your shorts. I saw a few other people. I appreciate all you guys and all the positivity in those
Clutchy.
comments. Clutch. Oh, I'll just say Clutchy. I don't know why I said the last part.
He
But
does love Jesus.
on the Deku thing, I it's scheduled out to go next
Oh, you
Wednesday.
have a short for it.
Two of them. Yeah. So
Oh, that's so
I know
good.
that a lot of the manga people, so obviously I'm not going to spoil the Kobe thing, right? Because
Hmm.
that's the anime, like, putting the spoiler tags, whatever. I'm just not spoiling people because I'm just talking about things that either I talked about at the time, at like basically I have all these theory videos on concurrently with like 10 chapter 1044. That episode just got aired out, so let me make a short. And I've been telling all the creators like, yo, you should do that. If you have the theories, go do that. But for me, it's like I'm looking at there's a future video that I'm like, it's all scripted out, but I feel like it'd be better if I like learn more about Oda. So that's what I'm doing. And then I stumbled upon so much interesting stuff, which my hero was a crazy one. He had an interview with him, and I didn't know the author Horikoshi. He's a One Piece mega fan.
But it's strange though because I would like to say that maybe he took inspiration from Kobe, but I feel like when he initially started like riding Deco the way he is, Kobe wasn't very fleshed out. So it might be the other way around.
It's interesting, right? Like because of that, for me, from my perspective, right? Because me, Threevil, other like-minded creators, we've been on the Kobe's gonna have Conquerors for a long time. I've had a whole like spiel about it, how he already showed Conquerors.
Definitely.
I've always felt that way. And in the recent reveal, a lot of people have had the idea that like the connection, it's there, right?
Hmm.
The way I've been seeing it is kind of like, I think, and it makes sense when you watch the or read the interview. Uh, they didn't ask this question, but I would put money on it. I would put so much money on it that Horikoshi's favorite character is probably Kobe. And the point being is
It
that
has to be. That's his whole
in
main character.
in the interview he said he when he first started out. So let me back up. This is the stuff I'm covering in the thing. He's such a One Piece mega fan that he was published in the volumes. Volume 23, Oda didn't know. When Horikoshi was a
What?
kid, he drew art, and Oda chose his art for Smoker, and
That's
it
so cool.
won.
That's so cool. I had no idea.
And Horikoshi never told Oda. He waited. He was so shy that even when he was serialized, he's in the same goddamn building as Oda. He was so shy to be in the same presence as Oda that he was just like, at a New Year's party, he's like, "Hey, do you remember that guy from that volume? That was me." And he's like,
He's probably thinking there's no way this guy remembers the random smoker art from like 20
"Yeah."
years
And
ago.
then
But
Oda was like, "That was you? Why didn't you say you've been in the building for like 4 years now? You never say anything." He's just like, "Yeah, I just wanted to be my own person before. Like I wanted to be successful
so
and like
cool.
and do that." And this is all in the interview. And then so he said this is what he said. He said, "Bro, like not bro. Sorry, wrong depiction." What he said was Oda just is like he said, "Oh yeah, that was him. That was him." And then I chose your art. And then he was like, "Bro, that made my day. You don't understand." I screamed, I cried, and then I ran to my mom screaming, "Mom, look at me. I'm in the volume." And then he freaked out, and then that he's literally said that was the reason that solidified him becoming a mangaka. He always wanted to, but that was a validation, like my idol chose me, and he doesn't know me. That was my first art submission. That was my first art like piece, like publicly. And he's like, "You know what, I'm do it." And from then on, he tried, and he studied One Piece so much that he tried to make his protagonist like Luffy, because he really loved how Oda depicted uh like um like a protagonist, where it's like free feeling, free speaking, completely contrary to like the meta at the time. And then
Uh
he
huh.
realized that he couldn't do that. He failed. He said like, "I realized I couldn't do that, so what I did was, instead of doing that, I made a character that was more like me." So what he said, he combined his social anxiety, his over
Right.
analysis, a little bit of optimism, and that became Deku. So Horikoshi is Deku, and he came through that realization after trying to create Luffy. And so he incorporated a lot of like how Oda designs characters into my hero, but with his own spin. And so it's like, it's an interesting thing because I didn't know any of this, but I did a watch party for my hero back in December, before December a little bit.
I gotta
And
catch up to with my hero.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I'm not
haven't.
gonna spoil it, but for me, I gravitated to My Hero because, um, at the time, like when it first came out, it was cool, it was hype, but I had so much on my plate. When I started watching, I was like, this kind of there's like something about this feels like One Piece. Like there's something
Really, I
here.
noticed that as well. There's literally one character who has Luffy's powers. I forgot his name though. He's like a I forgot his name. I'm not gonna remember it. He has like a bounce ability. He was like bouncing on like
Mm.
rails and shit. I don't know what his name is. I'm like, this is literally Luffy's awakening. I don't know who the guy is, but um,
Oh,
maybe somebody in the chat
the big
knows.
dude, the rubber guy, like not the rubber
No,
guy. He's like the fat guy.
no, he's not fat. He's like I think does he die? He's like he would like hang out with
Does he
this
die?
girl.
Just spoil
I don't want to
everybody.
spoil. I don't want to spoil. I feel like something happens to him though. Gentle criminal, him, yeah, gentle criminal. You remember that guy?
Oh yeah,
Jacob
yeah,
said
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
Gentle.
yeah,
He
yeah.
his powers are literally Luffy awakening. I don't know. I don't remember what he
True,
was. I'm like,
true.
yo, this guy is literally just like Luffy's awakening.
Yeah. No, but so like that's a fair one, right? But like
And La Brava, yeah, that's who he was with. La
even
Brava.
outside of that, like I was like there's like thematics here that I was like this seems like a One Piece person. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I always like that, and I always gravitated towards like I like the meaning behind it.
and
They tackle
it's kind of like Inherited Will, to where like Oda's inspired by
yeah,
Toriyama, and then Horikoshi's inspired by Oda. You know, it's like,
and he's
oh,
open about
maybe
that. Yeah,
who Oda
100%.
with
No,
Toriyama
well
or
that
Horikoshi.
that way, and then Horikoshi to the Oda thing. Like literally there was three different questions in the interview. Basically every single answer was One Piece influenced me, One Piece inspired me, Oda did this and nobody else was doing it. So like
That's
that
so
changed
cool.
how I thought about these things. And keep in mind,
And
he's not a confident, this guy is super like hypercritical of himself. And so
uh-huh.
what was hilarious is at the end of the short, or at the end of the short and at the end of the interview, it's literally All Might and Deku. Like Oda is All Might and he's Deku because
Horikoshi.
yeah,
Oh,
because he's just like because Oda's gassing him up. Oda's like, yo, like you um are going to be inspiring a lot of people past you as well, like
yeah.
given what
Up
you're
next,
doing
right?
and how you're doing it, because a significant thing that I think personally I like a lot about My Hero was they brought in a lot of comic book. Like if you watch it, it looks like there's like it looks a little bit like Spider-Verse. Like they have like you can tell that like, they
Oh,
brought in like a comic book theme. And yeah, because
uh-huh.
Horikoshi read like he in the interview he said
He,
everything. He read all of Marvel DC, and that was his
so he has that influence, that
yeah.
inspiration. He knows what he's doing.
And so Oda like knew that. He's like, you seem like you love comic books, and like that's an incredible thing to bring into thing. Which look at what Oda's doing. Oda's doing that with the rubber hose stuff, all the Tom and Jerry, all that stuff. So it's like a different iteration
Yeah,
of that, and it's super cool.
exactly.
And at the end of it, Oda said because they're both in Jump, and Oda's a very competitive person, and he likes like goading people on, and he was just like, we're all in this battle, like good luck to all of us. And then Horikoshi's like, sure, like he's just like super shy. And then I was like, bro, be
This is
more confident.
Deco and All Might.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the this kind of like
Oh,
this might be off topic,
he
but
said bro, be more confident. And then he said, this is Horikoshi, he said, okay, I'm gonna strive to be the best and surpass One Piece. And he didn't use it last part. And then said,
whoa! Oh,
Oda, s-
I'm like, he
Oda,
said that though.
he said that. Yeah, it's in the interview. And Oda said, I won't lose. And like, Oda pulled that out of him. He wanted him to strive for that, right? He didn't say that on his own.
Yeah.
He was super shy, but that's literally a Deku thing, right? Like that's literally
Right.
all my
Yeah.
Deku of like I'm gonna be like a superhero, right? And I'm like, yo, that's
You should have
crazy.
want that for yeah. One of the
Yeah,
coolest things about about My Hero Academia is like even like Deku's power, the I don't know if it's all for one or one for all. I don't know which one is which. But that whole thing is like literally like inherited will, right? Isn't that how that works? I'm like, that might be like the biggest One Piece reference in that whole series, because one thing that they always say is like, oh, this is a power from like the past hero that only works when you're given to like the next hero.
Yeah.
right, or something like that. That's
Mm-hmm.
literally what inherited will is, like, by definition. When Shanks gave Luffy the straw hat, that was basically him giving Luffy, like, his will to go on and, like, bring me back the hat whenever you are, like, a strong pirate. And I think Roger that did that with to Shanks, and then, like, you got other characters who inherit wills, like, Kobe inherited Garp's will, and then, like, so on. I guess Sabo and Dragon. The whole theme behind Deku's power, I think, is like literally a One Piece reference in and of itself.
I
Like,
believe it because like I've talked about different theories for Luffy's fruit. Remember we're trying to figure out what the devil fruit really was, and like this is the
uh-huh,
craziest thing. The anime just gave it to them. The anime told them it was the Gomu Gomu, but for us, we didn't know. We had no idea. And so many people were like, is it Luffy's fruit? If it is Luffy's fruit, what is it? That's where the resin stuff came in. There's so many ideas. And like my idea ended up sounding a lot like it. And I almost questioned, I was like, there has to be something here. Like there's no shot that is so similar. And it's even funny where like you see the animation. Well, this is the animation, but like when Luffy does the like he punches Kaido, he has like the veins, like the power coursing through him. That's the same
uh-huh.
animations essentially that like Deku gets when he's
Hero
channeling
has.
the that power. And like I was like, yo, this is very similar. And my Blackbeard theory, my most recent like super favorite video, uh, that ended up sounding like the power from My Hero, and that's the one where I'm like, I don't know if Horikoshi could have like dug so deep that he ended up unironically landing on that perfect power, or he was so inspired by One Piece that he made something adjacent, and then that ended up making, like, if you think about Luffy and you love Luffy and you studied him to the point where you try to recreate him and you made powers similar to it, and then if Oda had the opposite, and if you were a true, like, if you really understood One Piece, then in you tried to make an antithesis to it, you might end up coming up with something similar, right? Like that's actually how
Yeah,
like art and medium is. When you're inspired by something, you end up following down the same pathways and logic.
right.
So
Like,
it'd be
even
interesting.
Luffy in and of himself, like his personality, literally Goku.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you say that?
I
Is that a
mean,
crazy take?
like Luffy's personality, it's interesting because like so Oda says something in that interview with Horikoshi. He says like Luffy, the way Luffy was considered disgraceful, and like because he just spoke all of his mind. And I sat there, I was like, that's funny because like Goku did that. But the thing is, I think the difference between it was like um Toriyama, or at least Dragon Ball, didn't put Goku in a, like, he was himself, but like Dragon Ball is like battle manga, and like they know that, right? Like it's not the serious stuff. Whereas like Luffy's straight up doing it in like in the at the UN level. You know what I mean? Like Goku wasn't doing
Uh-huh.
that. You know what I mean? That's where it's like different. Where like in Fishman Island, Luffy had like they're like, am I gonna save you? And he's like, I don't care about that shit, I just want meat. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, like, yeah, like, is he a hero?
right. Whereas like
That was another very toxic debate that I had. It wasn't really toxic, but it was another debate that we had on Twitter from, like, is Luffy a hero? Because people were telling me that he's more like, I guess he's like more like an anti-hero. But then I'm like, well, in Wano, he said that he would well, it's kind of like he kind of like contradicted himself, right? Because in Fishman Island, his whole thing was, oh, a hero is people, it's just someone who, uh gives meat to, what did he say for verbatim? A hero is someone who
oh,
gives meat to everyone else or something like that,
yeah,
that
yeah,
doesn't eat it for himself.
yeah.
And then in Wano, he promised Otama that he would, make it a place where she could eat
Hmm.
and where everyone could eat. So I'm like, isn't by his own definition he a hero?
Yeah, that's a I th- I think when people say
I think
he's
that's
not a
that's
hero,
character development too.
yeah, that's the thing, right? Like it's not necessarily like when people say like Luffy is not a hero, I feel like it's coming from a point of view. It's like Luffy's not intentionally trying to be it, right? Like whereas like Deku's like, I'm gonna be the number one hero. And
Yeah.
on the flip side, what I was meaning about like with Dragon Ball, it's like that is his character, but and I guess with Dragon Ball it's a little bit different because he was like in the things, but it wasn't ever centered around the actual like is there like in Dragon Ball they had the Revolutionary Army or whatever. It wasn't like Goku was trying to like liberate anybody. He was just beating up people and collecting Dragon Balls, and people were trying to get in his way. Like, and that's how it was back then. But that's because Toriyama at that era, it wouldn't play off well if you made like this goofy character in a serious situation. We cancel people now trying to make light of like serious situations, and so that's where it's
Yeah,
like
you can't do that.
it's a Oda was doing that back then, and he was very brazen about it. That's where it's a little bit separated. And so with like Luffy, I feel like by the end of the story, we will be able to say he is a hero, but I don't think he will. The difference is
You
he
wouldn't
doesn't
like that.
it's not that he doesn't like that, but it's more so like he doesn't care. He doesn't care for that, right? So
Yeah.
like when it comes to like calling someone something, it's like how much are they being intentional? Is he intentionally being a hero? I don't think so. I don't think he's intentionally being a hero, but that in it out of itself is what a hero should be. A hero and that was something I said in that Kobe video. If you
Yeah.
remember,
Kobe wants to be a hero.
he,
But then I think Kobe looks up to Luffy because he can tell that Luffy's like a hero himself. That's
well,
why he likes him.
I think it's not that Kobe wants to be a hero. I think it's that Kobe is doing everything a hero should do, and he doesn't care
Inherently.
about, yeah, exactly. He's doing everything that Luffy would essentially do. He's just stringent on where he does it. You know what I mean? Like Kobe has to be on the marine side type of thing. And so like
Yeah.
but whereas the conversation I was having was like it almost feels like Kuzan cares to be a hero in the story, right? Like when Garp turns down the promotion, he's like, "Oh man, like that's so cool, blah blah blah," and like he's hyping up Garp because I don't want to train him and he's the hero, all this stuff. There's like a light way where it's like maybe Kuzan wants to, like when he's fighting with a Kainu, like why is he fighting for fleet admiral thing? Why can't he do all the things that he wants to do just as an admiral? And the answer to that is Garp. Garp is doing everything Garp wants to do as a vice admiral. The rank means
The Vice
nothing.
Admiral.
And so Kuzan is chasing the rank and not realizing like he's sitting here saying like, "Oh, I can't pursue the justice I want. So now I have to go independent. Now I'm going to align with Blackbeard, whatever it is." But that's the issue where it's like, wait, so then what do you want to do? Because like, look at Garp is literally doing everything that you wanted to do, and he's doing it as a vice admiral. Like, why didn't you listen to him when he dropped the promotion? You just cheered that on. Like that's something Oda wrote in the first page of chapter 0. Garp, you're so cool for turning down that promotion. So then why then
Yeah.
afterwards is Kuzan taking the promotion if he's not? There's something
I
there.
wonder I wonder if it's possible for you to go to like D rank yourself as a Marine.
I
Because I
mean,
wonder if he could have went down to Vice Admiral, but then I feel like he wouldn't want to do that because then you're subservient to Kuzan, right? I mean to Akainu, so
yeah.
he might bully him.
But the thing is, because Garp is there, there's a pathway towards what Kuzan I feel like would naturally be doing, which is like more similar to Garp, right? Like these are the orders. I'm gonna do something a little bit different, you know. And he's
Mhm.
more than powerful enough to do that. And so with a Kainu, or not Kainu, with Kuzan, it's kind of like you know what you could say a little bit, it's a little bit like Kid, not to meme on it, but it's like Kid's issue was like not issue per se, but like Pirate King, I have to take down the Yonkos. Even if I'm so weak, I'm gonna take down the Yonkos. And it's like this, it's just like this driven path of forcing himself down that way.
Yeah,
Whereas what is Luffy doing? You know what I mean? Like Luffy's
Luffy
like,
just
I'm gonna,
cruising.
yeah, he's just
He
cruising
went on a break for 2 years. He knew nobody was gonna do it when he wouldn't. When he
on.
wasn't in the seas. Nobody gonna take down the Yonko.
Yeah, and like
I feel like that's like confidence.
When Punk Hazard came and he announced like I'm gonna take down the Yonkos, it came after the Big Mom situation, right? Where he was just like, bro, I'm just
Yeah,
eating. Oh man, what is this?
right.
The Yonkos are starving people? What are we doing? And then that's when he's like, you know what? no, I'm gonna fight you now. I wasn't going to, but now I'm going
That's
to.
when you, yeah, that's
So
when you piss them off. When people can't eat.
yeah, exactly. So it's like what is Luffy's unintentionally doing it, and that's probably the right way about going it, right? Because he's not
Yeah,
fighting people because they're they achieve some kind of thing. He's fighting people because they're going against what he believes in, right? Kids just out here
right.
fighting. Like I said this, I'm like, bro, I swear, like there's so much between Kid and Shanks. They have both red hair, one arm. Like they're both. I mean, they could probably talk about a lot. But Kid doesn't want that. He's like, man, this guy has a title, and I need to get that title.
Yeah.
And like Luffy's
He's
like,
like,
is he starving him? All right, he's fine.
right.
You know?
Luffy, like, it's like this. This is how I look at it. It's like whenever Luffy first like visits like a village or something, like a town, he goes to the town, he gets like know the people, to like know like the like what's going on with everyone, like the vibe. And then he just figures out, okay, this guy, he's an asshole. I'm gonna take this guy down. And then from that point going forward, that's how he moves. Kid, I feel like Kid, he goes to a village, he just he's probably gonna just like destroy everything, right? Like
Yeah.
just try to figure out who's on top. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
like the way
exactly.
they go about things are completely different. You know, it's like Kid, it's like if you're playing a video game, all the he just goes straight for the main quest, skips all the side quests.
Yeah, exactly. And you need
Luffy does all the side quests, then he goes to the main quest when he's strong
yeah.
enough.
That's why One Piece is so long, the
That's
side
probably a better
quests.
analogy than the first one.
Facts.
Yeah,
That's
like Kid would
exactly
have never, he would have never went to Skypiea. He didn't. He would, he would have never gone.
no,
He would have never
that's
gone to Sky. He would have skipped Skypiea too.
I dare
He's like, why am I going there? There's no Yonko on Skypiea. Why am I
I
going to Skypiea?
dare you to tweet that. I dare. Kid is a Skypiea skipper. Yo, that's so funny. That's true though. I think Law would
He would
skip
see no purpose in
Skypiea.
that. I really do. Would Law have? I think Law, because like
Yo,
they would see no value in going. I guess just to explore, maybe.
how?
I think current Law will go there, like Law that wants to like know like the ancient history of like the voice entry, but pre-time skip Law, there's no way he would go there. I don't think he
Yo,
cares.
how funny! You drop a list of characters and you say these are all Skypiea skippers. And people are like, no, not my
Characters
favorite.
who would skip Skypiea. I think
Oh,
most One Piece characters would though. Like, you know who wouldn't? You know who wouldn't skip Skypiea?
who?
Yoroge. He would go there 100%.
True. But like I mean, but Yarouge like is I'm not trying to be
He's a part
racist,
of
but
it.
like he's
He
kind
probably
of
been there before.
yeah, I don't want to
He's
make
probably no wiper.
assumptions. Yeah, he's
It's
say
probably his homeboy.
oh god. Docs to Skypiea skippers via characters. That's crazy. Like you just say like, "Oh, Mihawk is a Skypiea skipper." No, Mihawk would end up lost in Skypiea. That's their cope, right? Like Mihawk would end up lost there. That's funny. Yo, wait, actually real quick, do you know what an impact dial is? Oh no, he knows it is cuz Water 7's his favorite. Wait, so hold on.
Impact dial? Yeah, that's the thing that reflects damage back to its user.
No, that's a reject dial actually.
Oh! Okay, I don't know the
Real
specific
quick,
dial.
when Usopp fought Luffy, how did that? You were like, wait, where did he get this shit? When did he
Yo,
become
I ain't gonna
Batman?
lie. I didn't really understand the Whenever I first watched that, I didn't understand the context of it. But I was like, "Yo, this is really sad." Like, I don't know what happened to the ship. I don't know how it got destroyed. What
Wait,
happened to it? But like,
yeah, and you didn't
Usopp
see
is really.
Usopp seeing the
I didn't see
phlebotomy.
like. No, I saw that. Wait, you talking
Oh,
about there was one in Skypiea?
well,
There was a Club in Skypiea? I know there was one in Water 7.
well, that was the flashback to Skype.
I know in Skypiea they had destroyed the ship. I remember that.
It
But I
wasn't.
didn't see it happen though. I didn't like they got there and it was like already like super that's why they're looking for a
Yeah,
ship
like
right.
the guy. It was on the Skypean Anel's like ordeals and Anel. They kind of like destroyed the ship to a certain extent. It was like on a thing and the mast broke or whatever, and then the
Yeah.
Koboterman fixed it on its own, and then that was the flashback from In Water 7 when Usopp is talking to Frankie. That was from Skypiea. Oh god, that's so
I
yeah,
feel
okay.
like I didn't have the proper context, but it still hit for me though.
So now let me tell you the thing that Oda said, because I didn't say it yet, which was Oda is cognizant of people not reading One Piece. He in a interview, oh, this is with Horikoshi actually. Horikoshi, this is a he Oda gave criticism to Horikoshi. He actually told him, you have to be careful with having a lot of characters. And that makes sense from Oda's standpoint. Oda was basically saying like, you're to paraphrase it, me paraphrasing it makes it sound harsh. From the script of it, it sounded harsh. Because like Horikoshi's like, wait, what? And then that's like in the script, and then Oda's just like, yeah, like it's a very difficult thing to navigate having a lot of characters, because when you put importance on characters that you end up bringing back, you're gonna have a situation where you're gonna have to expend so much information, so much time on explaining this character again, because you have to recognize that a lot of people probably don't even know who it is. They probably didn't even read that
Right.
part, and then you
Yeah.
get a situation where My Hero, one of their like entire seasons is just a recap of who characters are, and that pissed me off to no end. And I was sitting there like, yo, this
They're
season came
they're
out
doing
after.
that right. They're and it's because they're doing the scripted or who just forgot maybe.
So Oda was saying
Maybe not.
the input was essentially like uh he gets a lot of feedback from Shueisha, Jump, or whatever, that like a lot of his readers don't actually read One Piece. They Not a lot of readers, that's not right, but there are a lot of readers that read One Piece and then they send in notes like, wait, who is this character? And it's because they didn't read that part of the story. They read some chapters here and there and they keep up with the story. When the Jump comes in, they read other manga, and then if people are talking about One Piece that week, then they read that chapter of One Piece. And so if Oda brings back a new character, he thinks that like from his standpoint, he's like, oh man, I'm so excited. People are gonna be hyped because this character's gonna come back. And then you sit with, wait, who's this guy? Who is this guy?
Oh man, that's so crazy.
And so Oda says that,
That's nuts to me. Like imagine. What
no, I
you
was
say?
just gonna say Oda says like he has to be cognizant that a lot of people don't read the whole story, and so but he's trying to he writes a story in a way that makes them want to read the rest of the story, right? And
Yeah.
so like that's one side of it, but then also he also has a different line. I forget where this one's not as fresh, but it could be applied here, where he's basically saying like some people might not like parts of the story, and that's fine. Like, you know, people are gonna read however they read. It's not he's not upset at people. He's just happy that people are reading, like they picked up One Piece one day in their life. That's why that's
Right.
his perspective of writing One Piece. He's like, if someone picks it up for one day, mission accomplished. If that was happy for them, mission accomplished. And then anything beyond that is more than that. And so he writes it in a way where it's like, you know, people can come in, read it, have a good thing, and maybe they get hooked and then they read the rest of the thing. He doesn't know where people are going to end up getting hooked into. I would imagine, like you said, right? Like, this is what I was going to say is you're not alone. You love One Piece and
Yeah.
skipping Skypiea, and then only the AMVs was like the crazy part, because on the where I was gonna say you're not alone, but most of these people are not huge content creators on Twitter for One Piece.
Right. They would never admit it. Even if they were, they would like. I feel like if you were in public, right, you saw a One Piece fan,
Yeah.
I bet you that person has skipped an arc. Is that crazy to say? At least one arc, because it's such a long series. Especially if they're like new time watchers.
A mega fan,
Most people they
no,
don't.
but a fan, yes.
Yeah,
I
that's the
agree with you.
casual. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
I've
no way they're
interacted
watching
with.
1,000 episodes. Like, just it's so unrealistic to expect people to do that.
Yeah,
Like the average person.
it's a reality where it's like, you know, some people only read part of the manga because they watched another part, and then only they like skipped a few arcs, and then the manga got crazy. The friend whatever came in front of them.
Yeah, then they just jump back into it. Like, what's going on right here?
Yeah, and then it's not until a big reveal came back, and these are people that I've actually like. They came into my comments, saying that like, hey, like this is how I caught up. Someone said that they okay, so this isn't the craziest thing, but like they were like, yo, I'm like in Zoe in the anime, but I watch all of your chapter reactions.
Hmm.
I was like, what? How are you?
Ow!
what happened here? How did you
That's
even find
crazy.
me? And he's like, I just really enjoy like how funny like these things are and what to expect. And I don't understand all of it, but it's a good time and it makes me excited to continue. And someone commented that recently. They were saying like this part of the anime was getting slow, and they watched my video, my short, and they're like, this is the reason I'm going to start back up again. And I'm like, you just watched a video about me talking about I forgot what it was. It wasn't. It was the ninja fight. My brain fucking
Well,
rotted on
wait,
that one.
Fukuro Kuju versus
I'm
Raizo?
I'm pretty sure it was on. I think it was that video. I don't remember if it was on IG or TikTok, but someone if anyone goes watches it, Oda literally said, hey, this shit is not important. So I skipped it. And so then in the SBS,
What?
he explained the story about Fukurokuju and Raizo. He had it all planned out. He just thought it was so dumb that he didn't put it in the manga. And I thought that was going to be put in the anime to stretch it, but they didn't even do that. So that's at the very beginning. And I guess like someone thought it was so funny that they were like, yo, I'm going to keep up. I'm going to keep going. And I'm like, wait, hey, whatever. So it's like you never know how people consume content, and like policing it and like gatekeeping and being elitist, that's counterproductive, right? Like if I'm looking at you,
Yeah,
one of
that's
the
one thing I
biggest
never do. I never
creators,
gatekeep One Piece.
right? And it's like for me, I'm like, especially now that I hear how Oda looks at making One Piece, and you have to like
Yeah,
recognize like how he feels about how people pick up his content. It plays off on how he writes it too. He just sticks with what's interesting, and maybe this is interesting to somebody, maybe this is interesting to somebody else, right? But like it's not like it doesn't feel that try hard either, and I think that's the energy that we need to reflect, and we'll probably be way more successful in getting people to watch, read, whatever it is. I'm finding that success through the shorts. That's, I've always said it, my biggest goal as a content creator in this community is to get more people to read the manga, because that's easier, like translates better
to
for
consume in
Oda.
the anime. Yeah,
It makes the people more so like in an interview, or not an interview, in a note, Oda said that like uh, like One Piece has really bright colors.
yeah.
So he said that
Oh, he said that.
originally he didn't like primary colors. He didn't like the color stuff because he liked like toned, like neutral, muddied colors. But because of he was getting serialized, he's like, I'm gonna make it super bright primary colors against my own wishes. And so he chose that, and he ended up falling in love with it, and he realized that the reason why he was opposed to using primary colors was because he thought that like people would make fun of him, but then also like he wanted adults to understand him, and if he made it too super childish, then people wouldn't gravitate towards his art and whatever, and we'd be called childish. He didn't want to be called childish, and so he was like
Yeah,
crafting this like version of himself for other people, and then he switched. He ended up finding a truer self of form of himself, and he so that was like a concern for him. He was like, will people understand me? And at a certain point he's like, whatever, I'm just gonna write. He stopped caring about that,
for it. That's
yeah.
cool. Yeah, that's cool. I never knew that.
Yeah.
It goes deep to like the colors are involved, which colors you use. I guess that's more of like the artist aspect of it. Like the
Yeah.
art perspective of everything like that. Yeah, it's like I don't really think like me personally, like I wouldn't think that deep into it, but for like someone in that position, as like a mangaka or something like that, even though he's drawn in like black and white, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess he's still like that's still really. I guess like what is it, like the color pages?
Yeah, that's all him.
Is
Yeah.
that what it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. His work ethic is just
Yeah.
that's nuts, man.
And that's why, so like if his mode of operation is just, yo, I'm just gonna be me, I'm just gonna be positive, or not positive, positive to himself, uh and that's how he's gonna operate, then like I'm like, yo, I'm gonna do that same thing. I'm just gonna, whatever I like to do, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have fun, and that,
Yeah,
I don't need to try like, you need to do this, you need to do that. Like it'll just happen. If someone sees someone enjoying
yeah.
themselves, they're just gonna go into the thing. And so like that's where it's, as a voice, you Geo on Twitter, you're starting conversations. People are talking about it, and whether like I'm looking at you, and I look at it, and I'm like, I just see a huge One Piece fan. It's a different version for sure. Like, you know what I mean? But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, like, I can't look at your comments yourself and think like he's trying to, like, the times that you're trying to be negative, you're like, I like, this is a fun conversation, right? Oda does that too. Oda literally does that in the
Yeah, like
things.
that's I think that's what everyone does. Like my whole thing is like I just try to make, the platform entertaining, you know. Like one thing I always get people always tell me is like, don't stop doing what you do. People might call you toxic, but you make it fun, because most accounts that are like my size, they try to keep things very tame. I would
Mhm.
say like they don't want to like stir drama up or cause anything, but I think that it's cool to do that sometimes, like to like keep the timeline entertaining, versus just keeping it very stale and very safe. Like, that's not fun, That's
Yeah.
why that's why I think a lot of people come to my page because it is a balance, just pushing like just making sure that everything is like exciting, and that comes from like a lot of like power scaling questions and things like that. That most people they just like wouldn't touch power scaling or like comparing One Piece to like to Dragon Ball, even if that means sometimes that might set us up and that is, make us look bad or whatever people say, which is crazy because I never understand why people say that. Oh, you make us you you make One Piece fans look bad. That's the craziest. Like that's the craziest one I get.
Yeah.
You know what the worst thing is that I get
What?
that in terms of like people who they always tell me I'm not gonna watch One Piece because of this guy. They'll literally tell me that in my quotes. I'm like, how do you let one person prevent you from watching a whole anime series? This goes far beyond me. That's crazy. And I see that so much. I see that so much.
No, you're
And I
not.
think people see that and they think that's why I'm ruining the community.
It's
I'm
funny.
like, what?
So the version I've seen,
That's
because
so
I'm
crazy
not
to me.
you, is a few people have said like, I've seen Twitter. I don't want to watch One Piece. I'm like, what does Twitter have to,
That's
just
so
get off
what
of
is
Twitter?
Twitter? What?
I was like, wait, just get off of Twitter then. Like that just sounds like a Twitter problem. But then if you boil it back, like in your situation, right, when someone says like, if someone ever realistically, like meaningfully said like, I'm not watching this because of X person, right? And no plug to the X platform, but that was a double entendre. But like
That was hard.
but
Unintentional banger. No pun intended.
uh like if someone says that, that's a self-report, like 100%. You are being
Yeah,
influenced by some random person you don't even know. You know what I mean? Like you're sitting here saying that
right.
the person who got you into One Piece is an awful One Piece fan, and like you have the nuance to
He was
understand.
like the worst. Yeah, but it was still my friend, so it is what it is. At least he got me into the series because if he never did, I would never have watched it probably.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did because it's really really good.
And like, I don't even know what Moist Critical's take was. I'm sure it's like,
Moist Critical had the wait, have you not heard his take?
I might have heard it, but I like,
It's
so
one
for
of
me,
the
like
it's one of
if
the
I see
worst. It's worse than
clips,
me.
I don't judge. Like I'm just like, whatever, it's fine. You know what I mean? Like it's a
Right,
clip.
'cause it's probably not like not the whole context.
Even if it's
People
a
they
full
constantly take
context.
clips out of context.
What do you have more of the context? What's the context here?
So I might well basically the whole thing of it is that he thinks Luffy's a terrible main character. That's the whole thing.
Mm, Interesting.
That's his whole thing.
Ah, that's
And
the
the One
clip.
Piece,
Okay.
you know how One Piece fans are with that. They oh wait, do you see it?
What they're typing in the chat? Moist doesn't like Luffy.
Oh,
Basically,
I thought you saw the clip.
oh no, no, I didn't.
What
I
is
didn't.
this?
I don't think I might have saw the clip, but I didn't like see outside of it. So that just hearing that, like, sort of, I just didn't know it was Moist. Um, hungry, dumb, hungry. Okay, okay. I did see
But
a
yeah,
video where he was at the furthest he was at. This was like maybe a month ago. Was Water 7, right? So it's
I
like,
think he's on Water 7. I think he did he catch up to Water 7?
so
I don't know. I think he's on Water
like
7. I don't know if he passed it up yet.
I not that I think by Water 7 is the arc that I think that Luffy becomes more serious, right? Like, because he's
Yeah.
intentional, all that stuff. And I would like, if that's his take before Enies Lobby rather than after, that's a whole separate situation, right? Like, that's the
It
context of
was
that clip, right? Like, okay, tell me where he's at. If you told me he's at like before East Blue, yeah, all right, fine, whatever.
I think he literally made it all the way to Water 7 with that perspective, and now he's just sticking to it. I think
Yeah.
it's this thing where he doesn't want to change his mind. So
Mhm.
I don't know what Luffy has to do to like become this character, but eventually I think he will like Luffy though. Like I don't know how you can go so long because like that's the main character. Like I don't know how you can just watch all of One Piece and not like Luffy.
I think there's also a separate nuance too where I've heard someone recently say, I forget what arc it was. It was a recent arc. Like Luffy is not their favorite character archetype, right? Like at the end of the day, we're still in shonen. It's still One Piece, right? Like this is in a genre that everybody even likes, right? Like there's so many people who aren't even in this realm of stuff. Why? Because they don't even gravitate towards character like that, right?
That's
So
another thing I'm seeing.
like
They're
with
saying that he's watching the dub. That's another big deal.
oh, that's a huge thing, right? That's more than enough context already, right? So like, again, that clip is there. Now we get he's not even close to where Luffy is countering Dap, right? Or when that starts becoming more and more charming. Two, he's watching the dub, but then
Yeah, so
three,
you gotta
three
do hard lifting, man. I don't know if he's gonna ever like Luffy now.
three, it's like, what kind of characters do you like? I saw people saying he likes Zoro. It's like, if that's the kind
Oh
of
yeah,
character he
the Zoro
likes,
fan.
then that's a chosen path kind of thing, right? Like that's not even like a ZKK conversation. That's a like Oda used to work with like the archetype for wandering samurai, right? So like if that's the
Right.
archetype he likes, then yeah, like One Piece doesn't fit that, right? So I could see that. That's my thing. It's like we're just getting more people to now that for me it's like, yo, Moist Critical said One Piece. You know how many thousands of people are gonna
That's what I
buy it?
said. I love it. I love the fact that Moist Critical and Hassan, that those like really big streamers are giving One Piece a shot because
Yeah, that's
it
why I
just
got
brings
into
more
that.
eyes to the series.
I'm trying to get Hassan. That's why I need you to like, because I can't stoke the flames on the Hassan
Yeah.
side. But if you don't have to do it intentionally, you don't have to tag me. You just let me know, like, yo, I'm gonna
Hey
spread the.
Hassan, if you're a real fan, pull up the ParVision stream. Like we
You
get,
don't have to do it like that. But
he would probably air me out. He would ignore me. I ain't gonna lie.
because it was
I feel like
crazy.
you have to like to get their attention is so hard because they're so popular. You know.
Well, it was crazy because the day I posted my video, his mods instantly all over it, sent it to him. He watched it. It was the
That's
day
cool.
I
I
posted
saw
it.
that.
It didn't even hit like 10K views by the time he checked it out. So, and he loved it. And like my thing is, it's like the more we get him to talk about it, I don't even care. Fuck Hassan. Millions of people are now in front of this shit that otherwise would never ever even entertain the idea of anime, One Piece, whatever, right? And like
Yeah.
Hassan is actually like the craziest one, like weeb kind of thing. He went to conventions straight up, bought a cosplay outfit at Anime Expo, and I'm like, bro, that's crazy. Like even big One Piece
That's
fan
so cool.
wouldn't even do that.
That's
But
what One Piece does. It'll get you into anime. It's like it's one of the deeper ones, you know.
he went in
One-
t-shirt, shorts came out looking like Zoro. Someone like literally thought he was caught. He bought 3 swords at the thing, and I'm like, yo, that's crazy that he did
That's
that.
so cool.
Um,
That's awesome.
but yeah, it's like because all of that is what Oda essentially wants. It's like more people talking it, more people are gonna bring it up. If they like it, they like it. If they don't like it, they don't like it. What is he gonna do
Exactly.
about it? It's like,
Yeah. The worst thing is when they don't like it and they stick around and they hate on it because it's everywhere.
yeah, and
Like
then
I couldn't imagine not being a One Piece fan right now because it was everywhere when I was like more of like a Naruto guy. It was everywhere, but now it's like how do you exist and like anime and just not watch One Piece? Like I don't understand how you could just do that.
yeah, and then
It's everywhere.
on top of that, right? It's also kind of like you know, we needed to get to like more places, and the only way is for like there to be dumb conversations, like super dumb conversations. I'm trying to like now I've been posting a bunch of things like Oda's a huge train buff, like he loves trains. Like I didn't know this, but Tom, like from Water 7, apparently the first guy who invented like
Oh,
brought
I saw
trains.
that
Yeah.
theory that you did. I don't
Oh,
want to spoil it once again. I'm not
that
gonna
one's
spoil it.
I
That is a no. That's too good. I'm not gonna spoil it. I refuse. Cause you had me on the edge of my seat the whole video. I'm like, who can it be? Who is it? It was so good,
that
and I kind of like the answer too. Cause I think that there's definitely room for that character to come back.
Yeah, that was at the end of the day my point. It was just like at the minimum, I think we can agree Oda did not kill him, unlike everybody else. Like this is a character he actually just didn't kill because I've
He didn't.
where
Like he's
I'm telling you right now, there are no tranquilizers in Skypiea. So you tell me, outside of Skypiea, are there
I wouldn't know.
tranquilizers? There's not, right? Like I don't recall ever there being tranquilizer bullets. Oda like went like ran. He pulled out
But
of
bringing that character back will require like a whole nother like flashback in the how Oda has to like do the whole character flashback to remind people like we were just talking about before. So that guy needs a whole chapter for that because I mean, who knows him? He's pretty. I don't know.
yeah. It'll. I'm excited to see what Oda. I feel
Just
like
not a voice saying his name.
he's literally on the train of bringing back these old characters right now.
Yeah,
So that one
yeah.
feels right too. Um, but yeah, like as far as like the voices, like someone saying Taika Waititi, who's huge, awesome director, he's a big One Piece fan. My prerogative is just
Oh,
like, yo,
Taika, didn't he do Taika? What he did?
Black Panther. No.
I knew one of his movies. I forgot it.
Yeah, I forgot.
Oh, didn't he do Taika? He did Thor: Love and Thunder, right?
Yeah, I think. Well, he did that one, but there was a bigger one before that. I think he did.
Oh.
Ragnarok. That's him.
Ragnarok. Oh,
Okay.
I love Ragnarok. That's like in my top 5 Marvel movies, maybe top 3. It was so good. Love and Thunder was the one that was bad. That one wasn't good. I didn't like
I
that
like
one.
Love and Thunder, but that's also a
You liked
different
it?
reason. I liked it because for me uh you know what? I actually it fits in this conversation where it's like Oda careful wire. Oda said like, I don't want to make everything super serious, right? I want to have like a joke thing. And for me, my issue with Marvel to a certain extent was like superhero movies back in my day, chill like inspiration for children, comic books were super cool, all that stuff.
Mhm.
Okay. My son is just hearing me laugh, and now he's just or
I
talk.
see him.
Yeah, he
Baby
likes hearing
Park.
me talk, and now he
Oh, he's so cute.
thanks. Now, whenever I'm holding him, he like stops registering everything I say. But then when she's holding him and he's just looking at me, he's batshit crazy.
Yeah.
He got it out of him. But with the whole yeah, now he's just going crazy. When he's too close, he's freaking out. Okay, baba. The what's it called? it relates to him actually. It's just the what's it called? Like, to a certain extent, superheroes are like a children inspiration, but when you look at like a lot of the Marvel movies, they ended up being so try hard that like you almost couldn't bring your child to the movies, like to some of these movies, because they were like not dark. Like Marvel wasn't dark. They were playing a thing where it's like, is this a kids movie or is this an adult movie? And it's like, this is
Yeah.
superheroes. And it's like for me, the way I see superheroes back in, when I was a kid and older, is like a bunch of kids running around with like Thor hammer, Captain America shield, all that stuff,
The Hulk fists.
a Hulk fist, all that stuff. And I think,
That was the number one, man. The
yeah,
Hulk fist.
love and thunder to me, because like for me, like, this is an insight on, a lot of people don't know this about me. I was applying before, a while ago. I don't have to give the full context, but I was applying to be a writer on Sesame Street. It was just like a thing. I was
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah, like a lot of, and it was
That's
funny
cool.
because I met a lot of contacts afterwards that would have been like, they were like, you would be great on Sesame Street. I was like, I applied, and then they did not get back to me. And but
Sesame Street got a deeper lore than One Piece. I wonder how the theories are for that series.
yeah.
They got like 15,000 episodes and crazy like that. I'm like, they gotta have Sesame Street theories. That many episodes.
Yeah, like being a like a children's show writer, that was something I wanted to do earlier on, because like to me that's like the most meaningful like kind of content that we in modern times, we're so, we don't put a lot of effort into it and it's super unintentional, and then we don't recognize how bad it could be sometimes. And there was a whole controversy with the YouTube stuff with the kids content. Like we were just like, anybody with a fucking hand make content. It's like, no, we need to gatekeep this shit. Stop that. Stop this nonsense right now. But for me, it's like, like we had so many so many shows that are getting rebooted because they were
Oh
so good.
yeah.
And
Yeah. I think it's also like a lack of they understand that there's a lack of interest in like the newer stuff. So bring something old back and
right.
people are hey, oh, I know what this is already. I'll watch it again. I wonder
And
if it's more of a lack of creativity or a lack of innovation or something like that
it's a
to where
difficult thing to do, especially when something's a lot bigger. Um, 1 second. The so with that, like for me, like Love and Thunder, when I boiled it back, I was like, this is a great kids movie. Like I could bring my kid watch this
yeah, that's
movie.
what I felt like it was. It was more for kids. It
And
was more for because like there was literally a whole scene of like little kids beating up a villain. I'm like,
yeah,
who is this for? I feel like I shouldn't be here.
yeah, and so like that scene should have locked it in, but it's like all the, when you boil down that movie and you look at all the criticism that people had, it would have been criticism that a kid wouldn't have cared about. It was like nitpicky
Right.
stuff
They
that's
would not
like
have cared.
timeline, like this continuity thing. It's like, is it crazy? Is it a crazy take that a superhero movie would be an awesome kids movie? It's not. So for me, I'm like, this is a great movie because now I can bring my son. He wasn't born at the time, but I could bring my son to
Right.
this movie. This is a great movie. They did a great job for a kids movie. And yeah, for me, I would have changed a few things, but it felt very clear that they were targeting a different demographic. But the problem
And
is that
Ragnarok probably.
exactly, the problem was Ragnarok is very different, right? So
Yeah.
different.
I
And
was shocked when it was the same director. I'm like, what? How do you switch his style up like so heavily? You know,
yeah, yeah. And
like it was
so
someone completely different.
tying this all back to One Piece, that's why I love One Piece, because One Piece starts out like the best gateway into like depth, because it starts out like super easy, tame, punching, goofy good for like a kids show. I watched as a kid. I knew a lot of people that jumped in. It's like, yo, this is fun. And then boom, boom, they hit you with the Saboti. They hit you with Enies Lobby. They
It
hit you
gets
with,
deep. Yes,
yeah,
Marineford. Oh my gosh.
yeah. And so that's why
You're
I'm
like, I'm
like,
here. I'm here to stay.
at the end of the day, shonen is for like children demographic, but it grew up with us, right? And
Yeah.
Oda has gone on the record. He's like, I have to write for like the general masses. I have to write for little boys and girls who are looking at, well, primarily little boys because that's a genre. But like he said, like,
Yeah.
what do young kids like? primary colors. What are they gonna like? Punching and action. So I have to
Punching.
mix
Yep.
in these things with that, right? So Oda's isn't lost on that, and that's why the
Right.
kids content is super important. The Marvel stuff. How do we get to the superhero? Not the superhero stuff, but like Love and Thunder.
I
Where?
have, I have no clue. Taika Waititi. I think you brought him up.
Oh, big fan. Oh,
Like, yeah, it was something about him.
so that was my segue into start like winding out the stream. We're starting to hit the 3 hour ish timeline, and I was gonna read there's I think 2 or 3 super chats that I didn't get to that I'll get to right now. We'll close off with that, and the segue essentially was like there's so many One Piece fans that are just sleeper, and the thing is they're so like we have presidents, Olympians, athletes, like directors, actors, millions subscriber influencers all over, and I'm just trying to get them excited. You know what I mean? I want them to enter
It's
the
such a
conversation.
big series.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
you're again for me, like you are a huge voice because I didn't even know you at the time on TikTok. I still heard about you, good or bad, and I'm like, I'm always the
Yeah, because
type
they
of
post
like
me over there too.
I'm always the type of person like I don't. They did this with Morge. They did this with you. They did this with who else did they do this with? A few other creators where I just hopped in and like, oh my god, Morge is the worst. Oh, I told Morge this on our stream,
It's Morgan time.
and I told him I was like, I heard like the only negative things about Morge prior to hopping onto a stream, and I was like, this guy's normal. What are we? How is this guy? He has.
The one thing that they give him so much shit for is the Raiders failing thing, which he refused to take the L on
And
that,
you, if you listen to
which I think
why, if you listen to why he like thought of it, hey, it's not that crazy. If you listen to why he didn't back down, I think most people are gonna believe. Like even Sai that I was talking to, like he's like yo, like there's nothing wrong with doubling down on something I want,
yeah, yeah,
and then
double
it
down.
not happening and being a little sad. But like, where's Morge now? Morge still watching, reading, loving the series, right?
Right, he didn't drop One Piece.
Yeah,
Yeah, and if you ask me, it's like it's a testament to how good Oda is with tension. The fact that someone like Morris, who's really great at making One Piece theories, and he really genuinely thought, and this was a similar thing to when I used to watch Brago. I still watch Brago a lot, but like back when he would do like the B.D.A streams, and he would
uh,
like talk to like his like everyone on and the call and everything.
yeah,
It was literally like it was 50-50 in terms of people who thought that Luffy would like legitimately lose to Katakuri back then. People literally thought that he wouldn't win because it was like back and forth. It's like this is just how good Oda is with like creating
yeah.
tension.
No, that
Like
makes
people
sense.
really thought he would just straight up lose, like the villain. This late in the story, when Luffy's won so many, to me that's awesome. The fact that the fans can still be this like I don't know, because like it is like I remember back in the day I would watch a series like I think it was Yu-Gi-Oh,
Hmm.
and Yugi would never lose. Yugi would win every freaking
Yeah, the
car
moment
match, and I'm like, how is this fun? There's no stakes.
the, the
You
heart of
know,
the cards,
the heart of
the
the cards, they always come in clutch.
whenever that
Always.
was said, oh, it's raps. Like for me, that's what I
Yeah.
was like. I got hyped up. I was like, when is he gonna say it? When the motherfucker's gonna say it?
He's always looking at that one card. It's like that's like the last thing he could ever need to win, and he flips it
Yeah,
over, and it's the
yeah.
one he needs. I'm like, oh my, what is this, man? This guy is cheating. Somebody get the rule book. Get him out of here. Get Yugi out of here with the Millennium Puzzle. This guy is cheating. What is that?
Yeah, and so like again, like people came and said like you use crazy thing, bad influence, whatever, and then I talk to you, see you on thing, and I'm like, he's just the one. What are we doing? Like, what?
Yeah,
He's
like
just
none of them.
a louder person because he has a lot of followers. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, and the thing is that the thing that I always try to keep in mind is that they don't really know me, and they know my tweets. They
Yeah.
don't. They say they don't like my tweets, and it's like a lot of my tweets. I just do it for the sake of like interactions or whatever, just to be completely transparent. But like they don't know me as a person, you know. So it's like they don't like GOAW on Twitter. So it's not that like, they don't like Geo as a person, you know. There's a completely different, you know, distinction there in terms
Yeah.
of like I think that's why I really do want to like bring forward and like start, you know, putting out more like YouTube content similar to you or like streaming content because that way people could actually get to know me as a person beyond my tweets.
Yes.
I have to like just you know find the time to do that. But
Damn, you segued that.
that's like one of my goals, 100%.
Okay, that's you segued that
It's
beautifully
really
because
important.
I was
Yeah,
like, you're, incredible voice. You're on Twitter, but you're, most of the people who are like these voices, they're out, they're doing other things, and it's like I was wondering if you were doing this intentionally, like, or there was gonna be plans for you to make,
do one back on YouTube and Twitch,
YouTube.
100%.
Okay, so hey guys, if you don't like Twitter, completely valid. Don't like Twitter, but if you
Twitter is
already,
a cesspool. I'll
I,
admit it myself.
yeah, I don't think
Twitter is a cesspool.
if there's anybody who ever talks up Twitter at any stage of its life, whoever owned it, whoever, doesn't even matter Elon right now, doesn't matter X, if anybody ever told you, yo, Twitter's great, run, absolutely run in the other direction.
They're
Don't.
crazy. They're crazy.
Crazy, because there's no sane person who's gonna say that. But if you're already
It's
there,
insane.
if you already have a Twitter account, uh,
You. I'm gonna let you say what you want to say. My fault.
I was gonna say you're probably already following Geo, so follow me because I don't know. I'm joking. But to check out.
No, really, follow Par. Follow Par.
Because
Really.
what I was actually gonna say is, I like and comment on like anybody who comments on my thing. Even if it's a negative thing, I comment more so on negative stuff because I'm curious. I'm like, is this person just having a bad day? And sometimes people are like, yo, I'm sorry. I came back from like a hard day and like I was just being rude. And I was like, fair. And then we have a conversation. I like in negative comments, whatever. It's fine. It's the comments that are like, just like, I'm sometimes really rude to people who are just like, they're just toxic. And I think you know how to figure out who's just being toxic for being toxic. You said it earlier, someone in my response, like, don't even click on their thing. They're toxic, right?
Yeah, I'm so glad you didn't because that video is actually crazy.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't click on that video. That video is insane. It would have probably got your channel like demonetized or something. Like, I'm so glad you didn't.
And I'm looking through your thing. I'm like, yo, I genuinely am interested in like everything that you're saying, especially like this one about like the people like being able to make it to the end of One Piece, right? Like it's such something we don't.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
With X.
Yeah, X not. He's a big One Piece fan. There's a lot of people like that, and then you're saying like
that's so sad. I can't even imagine how many people just like in general because One Piece came out in like what 97, so there was like almost 30 years ago. So I
yeah,
mean, there's probably been so many people over the years who just haven't made it. You know, that's why we gotta stay strong in the game, man.
yeah, and so
We
that's
gotta make it to the end.
I
Make sure
wanted
everything was
to
worth it. You know.
shout that out. I appreciate you. Like, that's a highlight thing where it's like, when it comes to this space, people like, people are normal, human, right? Like it's not it doesn't have to be like personal and attacks and like people making certain claims. Like you're not an awful person because you skip Skypea. Is it funny? Should you read it? Yeah, but is it funny that you still have it?
I'm gonna read it one day.
It's kind of hilarious. Like I need Oda to meet you. You know what I mean? Like you.
Really?
I need you
That'd
to,
be awesome.
like I need Oda to be like, this guy is the biggest One Piece Twitter thing. I love Twitter. And then you're like, oh, I skipped Skype. And he's like, what? Like, you know what I mean? Like the reaction is kind of funny.
I feel like he wouldn't be that mad at me. I feel like he wouldn't.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
what do you think?
At the end of the day, Oda wouldn't be mad. Like Oda, I think everybody is more mad at you than Oda's just like, damn, like
right, they're
why?
mad for him. I'm like, he wouldn't care. I don't think he would care that much.
I think Oda would find it funny. I think Oda
like,
would
how
laugh.
did you skip Skype and you're still a big fan of the series like this? That in and of itself is a miracle.
He would be like, is this guy for real? Like, what's going on?
He would know. I would ask him why he hasn't brought Enel back. Then we could both wonder what's going on with that.
I think he's gonna bring Enel back, but like,
I think so too. Yeah, maybe an Egghead or like, because I forgot who said it. I don't know if it was you or someone else, but I love the theory that we're going to the moon right after this arc.
Uh,
What do you think about that?
I have an iteration of it. I think the moon is important. That's my weight into it. Is and I that was my theory was that the moon is like the so this is gonna sound like a crackhead, but like Punk Records, right?
I love it.
We have it here in the story. Punk Records. It's a giant like egg, but essentially a giant white object that's floating over the thing, right? And everyone connected to it. And I was like, wait,
Hmm.
like Nika did stuff in the Void Century. If I would imagine like a lot of the important devil fruits did important things in the Void Century. So wouldn't it make sense that the Vegapunk's fruit was used in the Void Century? And if it was used, that means that there's a giant brain somewhere. It's not like the brain just disappears unless like, you know, like technically it would just be somewhere floating around. What's a giant white thing floating around? Hey, and stop, don't think what you guys are thinking, but the moon is there. And there's like a tech stuff in there.
Whoa!
And my
You
thing
think that
was,
the moon is a brain?
yeah, that's one of the theories. It's one of my favorite ones.
Wow! I never even. That's crazy. So someone had Vegapunk's fruit, and they got so intelligent that they head got as big as the moon.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why. So the cover story is like Dr.
That is
Zucchini
insane.
is his moon watcher, and he's watching the moon explode. I'm like, enough to get a heart attack? Like that's crazy. But then also like there's so many things where what is Punk Records? Punk Records is a amalgamation of memories, right? Like when the Vegapunks put their memories into there, and let's say he allowed everyone to get access to it, they're getting access to Vegapunk's memories, right? So the thing about that would be what it would be validating to know if someone looked at the moon and they got memories. And hey, look at what happens with Sulongs. It was described to us that minks look at the moon and they access the memories of their ancestors and they get Sulong form. That's what was described to us in when Jinbei told us
That's
that.
true.
It was the memories that they got. So we literally have like one of the most important moon connected races telling us that they look at the moon and get memories. I'm like, wait, hold on. Oda's not even trying to hide it now. Like that's just right
That's
there.
insane.
Yeah. So the
I
full
love
video is
these
fun.
I love these theories because I want Oda to just to make them true because it would be so good for the story. Like it's just something like I can see that happening 100%. It's such a One Piece thing. So like someone's brain gets so big that it becomes the moon. That's literally like a One Piece thing. Like what other animes win that besides One Piece?
It's fun because like hey my theory is I think Oda has the Bogart agenda is kind of cracked. He was there, he wasn't for 17 years. Bogart wasn't there. I posted a video 2 months later, Bogart's there.
I want
Coincidence
Bogart to come back, play a big role in the story again. He has to.
for sure.
Oda sees the live action stuff. He sees the live action stuff. He knows who Bogart is now. Just bring him back, man. Just put him.
100%. 100%. He didn't
What happened?
forget.
Why wasn't he there with Garp? He was on vacation. You could. Nah, he wasn't. He was there. I guess he was there. He was in that
Yeah.
one panel.
Well, I predicted that even if he was there, he wouldn't do anything. That's what I said in that. Like in the video, I said he wouldn't do anything on Pirate Island, and he would show up before Egghead. That's what I was predicting, and that's exactly what happened. And people are like wanting to stop Hachinosuke. I'm like, what would that do for the story? The entire point of Garp's lesson was save the young people. There's no reason to fight for the old person. So Bogart knows the lesson. If he's the right hand, he already knows. It's like when Luffy and Zoro, like everyone was like, Luffy, and then Zoro's just like, that's just like he already knows. He already knows what Luffy's about, right? So it's like that's the kind of like level of connection that would make sense, where it's like most other people wouldn't be able to understand what Luffy would want or do, but his right hand would, right? Like the people who know him the best already understand, like this is what Garp lives for. So someone who's been his right hand already knows the lessons, that the last lesson that he's trying to teach to not just Kobe but also Kuzan, right? Like all these people, the only person that would make sense to learn that would be his right hand. So his right hand was following the lesson, right?
Yeah.
But let me get to these super
Oda could
chats.
justify it, if he wants to. Okay.
Yeah.
100%.
Let me get to these super chats, and then we'll close out the stream. And
Has it been 3 hours?
yeah, we're closing in on it. Um,
That's crazy. I
let's
think it flew by,
see.
man.
Let's see. Okay, so this is kind of a thing. Trevor the Two Eyes says, "Par, stop it. You know Bogart's dead." Wait, Bogart's not dead. Absolutely not dead.
Why would he be dead?
Yeah, wait. He's there. One,
Where
he's
is that
there.
from?
But also, if he was like, this is the craziest part, right? Like the live action is where Oda had to cut characters, canon characters, so that he so that the live action could exist because it cost thousands of dollars. It's not cheap to get an actor to be on set. You have to fly them, all this stuff. Like the thing is to
Right.
do so much. Every character, right? Every single character got like people were mad about Nojiko's casting. Like that's just crazy because nobody cares about Nojiko in the actual series, but whatever. And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
means that Oda cut Jin, whatever you call him, because I
I
don't
heard
think.
about the cutting rumors. I heard Gin and Don Krieg.
Well, Don Krieg
Is
has a
that
casting, but Jin I don't think has a casting, and neither does Pearl. And
the
Sanji
Smoker?
fought Pearl. I think Smoker has a casting, but
Okay.
but
Okay.
at the end of the
Never mind.
day, Oda went out of his way to bring Bogart into a scene that he wasn't in the canon thing. He changed the story for Bogart and is paying
That's
money
true.
for it. Like that's
I
just
love
next
I, I
level.
love the way he looks too. He looks really cool.
Yeah, he looks great. He looks great.
He looks. I mean, you barely saw him in the anime, and he's like over here with Kobe chilling and getting like full like shots of like preview shots. Like that's crazy.
I'm just
I
saying
wonder
the
how
agenda's
much
strong.
dialogue he gets. It is heavily strong right now.
Yeah. And if you guys haven't seen that video, you guys, why is Part talking about Bogart? I don't know who Bogart is. Go watch it. I made it before he came back. Before, leave it. Think like oh the Bogart agenda's dead. Who's telling you it's dead? Because it's the people who bandwagon after he showed up. Go to the guy who predicted that he did show up. That's the guy you should talk about. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I just hate
Facts.
that they're like a part of your agenda's dead. Whose agenda? It's not mine. You didn't watch the video. It's crazy. Um, we have Drunk Man Sambo, who's been very active in the chat. Thank you for being super active too. $5 super chat says also a new name, which is why I shouted that out. Can't argue Super Saiyan being more iconic. You can't argue either or. No smoke from me. It's the Ultra Instinct is more iconic. People
Oh,
people
that
that
was a
need a
big one.
CT scan.
Yeah, the Ultra Instinct
uh,
comparisons were funny to me.
I didn't even
Yeah,
entertain the Ultra Instinct one because like for me it's kind of
give
like
us Super Saiyan. That's what we want. We don't want Ultra Instinct.
the for me the Ultra Instinct conversation only came up because of the Super Saiyan conversation. So I saw in the same light of the Mihawk Shanks thing where it's like the Mihawk people got super aggressive in my opinion because the rebuttal was Mihawk is a fraud, and I would be
Right.
just as crazy if you told me Mihawk was a fraud. You know what I mean? Like that's just wild. You can't do that. And then because then you're pulling down Shanks, and then that's where it's like now Shanks is a fraud. And it's like what are we doing? Why are we saying
Right. Now
Shanks and me?
swordsmanship in general is thrown into question. Who's next, Roger? Like, are you really the king of the pirate? Are you really the nah?
Yeah, and then some people believe both. I'm like, we just lost the plot. Like the point isn't like, why is
Yeah,
debating them got to the point that they're both just frauds and weaks? Like that's not the point, right? For me, I'm like the Ultra Instinct came into it. I think more sane Dragon Ball fans would agree that like it wasn't Ultra Instinct isn't tied to Super Saiyan in the same light, right? Like that should be separated. Super Saiyan had an insane value to all of anime that Ultra
Right.
Instinct shouldn't be attributed to, you know what I mean? So like
Right.
um
That's why I've never once compared Ultra Instinct to Gear 5. I'm like, why would I do that?
yeah, I feel
You
I
gotta
feel
go. You
like
gotta go for the big one.
your logic is always so funny for it. It's like you're
I'm
low
like, why
key
would I
like
want the most
Psy.
recent?
Holy shit. I just
Yeah,
realized that you're like it's the gears are turning. The gears are turning. I could see when like cuz me and Sai we stream every week. I could see in his
I've been seeing y'all
eyes
on here.
uh I could see in his eyes when he's cooking up like the thing. I feel like if
I'm
I saw you thinking about it, you're like, "Oh, this is
gonna
it."
get a camera. I'm gonna get a camera soon.
Um
I really.
Shout outs
So
again.
if we ever do this again, you'll actually see me,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so will
for
the chat.
sure.
You guys will see me too.
Shout outs again to AIM PDX for the 10 gifted members. Few exclusive member videos still right now. Zmore 100 bits says we got to get ParVision's son into the era of kings as a quest NPC. I actually do want to get my son into like Minecraft. I feel like Minecraft is a good brain thing if you're like healthy about it. I mean, there's some people that are not healthy about it, but Nor Gangi, sorry, mispronounced it. Nor, I always say Nor. My daughter says, who else remembers a time when Par used to make interesting and useful videos weekly instead of 5 meaningless looping shorts a day of
Whoa!
anime clips? Which is, it's funny because
Whoa!
he's a chronic like the hate watcher type of thing, right?
Did he donate that?
Yeah, he did. Um,
Wow.
which is, it's funny because it's 10. It's 10. It's actually not 10. It's actually 14 because it's every day of the week.
And
So
it's popping off for you too, because you got, was it 10K in like a week of subscribers? Like
yeah,
shorts,
yeah,
they come in clutch. Like, you know who that One Piece talk is?
yeah, yeah, yep, yep.
I think that's how they got such a massive
Oh
following.
yeah,
Like one of the, I'm
100%.
not gonna say that that's the whole thing, but like one of the biggest ways that they got such a big following on their page was because of their shorts.
Oh no, one
Like
thousand
shorts, they,
percent. We
yeah, like
because
people subscribe off of those.
I started on. I don't know if you knew this. I started on TikTok, so they were
Yeah,
one of the first creators groups that I met, and then since then we were always cooking up
oh yeah,
the
yeah. I remember
the
you were on one of their episodes. Of course, you know,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah. So we're always like looking at the analytics for shorts because it's super interesting. But for them, they have like the double dosage of the fact that One Piece is super hype, but then also their
Uh-huh.
podcasts on any of these short platforms goes nuts because that's just
Yeah, because
clips of
there's so
podcasts.
much to like. Yeah, there's so much to
Yeah,
clip from.
yeah, and so we cooked up in the lab like the formats and things like that. But I always like changing things up. But as far as the super chat, I'm just gonna throw it out there, Nor. You might be a lone wolf here because even Joy Boy Theories loved it. He's like, bro, this is good shit right here, and I'm like, thank you, bro.
And Joy Boy, I mean, when it comes to like, long form
He's
content, I mean, he's
yeah.
probably the
I
king of
literally
it.
I literally
I look at his
told
videos, 600 videos. I was looking at his videos. That's so many. I mean, but he's been around forever though, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I told him like like you probably won't like this. He's like, I love this. This is great. And also
Yeah.
because some of them he saw what I was trying to do because we were having this it was off of like the Twitter thing we were talking about, like the covering the live action. It was off of that conversation, and he was like, he was basically like, yo, this is difficult. How do you like the time like to script it? And I was like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Because you drop
it's
one every day, right?
yeah, I mean, for me, these shorts they're easier for me to do because this is like my natural state. Like I could talk super fast, cover a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you do
Um,
talk very fast too. I'd be like, does he speed it up or is that just him talking? Whenever I let him, I'm
when I
like,
started
whoa.
YouTube, I had to slow it down. When I first started YouTube, people are like, "Yo, this is too fast for YouTube," so I slowed it down. Now I've created a way where I speak in a way where it's easy to speed up in post so it's less strain on me, but like I had to figure out like you know various ways to enunciate so that it's easier. I still mess up because it's harder for that.
Mhm.
But yeah, the shorts are kind of like the main thing about the shorts. And I think you get it too. Is like for most people, if you want to make the most impact, and my impact is getting people passionate about One Piece, it's through like a quick Twitter post. Like they all of a sudden, you 3 words from you brought an entire political fandom into One Piece, and now thousands of people are going to start reading that off of 3 words that you said, right? It's a conversation starter. And for me, that's
Mhm.
super important because more people talking about it, more perspectives, more conversations. That's all important. But then also, you know, the difference is like I make my stuff like literally jam packed with information. People tell me to slow down. I'm like, no, because you know there's all the other content that's like a little bit slower, all that stuff, and I'm like, if you sit down for one of my videos, you can't tell me that there's at least something nuanced or new in that because I'm putting in so much there. And if it's not new or nuanced, then you're either already watching the channel or you're like a manga reader and you're like I don't know, just watching all these streams anyways, right? So like it's not even like
Yeah.
necessarily made for you. But for those people, I try to make it interesting because it's like you know, I put in some of my takes that some of the anime people don't even understand. It goes over their heads. I put in so many
Right.
jokes that like people are like, yo, they just put the skull emoji because they know I'm not trying to spoil, but I say it in a way. And so it's super fun. Like I told my editor, like for this thing, I told him also like because he was putting in spoiler stuff because he was like, "Oh wait, isn't this weren't you saying that?" I was like, "No, like they wouldn't get that. It's just a joke." And he's like, "Oh, okay, so no manga stuff, just anime." I'm like, "Yep, just keep it that way." Because it's like that's the way you reach the most people, and I've already gotten at least 10 people I've interacted with that said, "I am starting the manga today." I think 20
Nice.
more people said I'm starting the manga after Wano. And I'm like,
Dude,
that's what
that's
you should do.
crazy. I'll be getting the opposite. They be like, I'm not reading One Piece because of Gio. The
Yeah.
literal opposite. I'm like, that's nuts. I'm never touching One Piece because of you. I'm like, all right, that's you then.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Wait,
That's still really good though. I love that.
someone tweeted Toya's cam girl on Twitter. I don't know if you know this spot
Hey,
me.
Tuya.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I know
Okay,
her.
okay. They just wanted us to
My
spot
friend.
them on Twitter. So uh thank you for tuning
Spot.
in.
What does that mean? Oh my! Is Tuya asking for a shout out? Good lord.
You got the shout out. Um um I told oh oh never mind. No rush. Okay, cool. Um Uh, all right. So next thing was Time Lord 50 bits said, save for the end of the stream when you get to the rest of the bits. Oh, well, we're here now. I also wanted to know what you thought of my latest theory. My latest theory is that the ancient kingdom was called Shinokuni, like Caesar's gas. I feel like the name serves four different purposes. One, okay, so one, I'm gonna off the rip Time Lord. Time Lord. So if you guys don't know, he's Brandon King on YouTube. You probably have seen him in streams. Time Lord on
Oh, I've
Twitch.
seen him. I seen
Yeah,
him in the chat a couple of minutes
he's
hours ago now.
one of my favorite theorists in terms of people who I don't know why he just doesn't make a channel. Like he has some great takes also. But this what you're saying right now, uh I don't think you have my sauce of it and I'm reading through right now and you don't I have you have 4 points, I have 8 more. I have 8 more, but I don't think I'm choosing it. So that's why I'm fully reading it right now. I would have skipped. I would have Lucia'd your fucking comment right there because I'm like, no, this guy's spoiling my shit. No, I'm joking. Time Lord knows though. He said, "Land of the Dead" refers to underworld, which is what Shino Kuni means. So if Caesar's gas is Shiro Kuni, which was like white gas, and then this is Shino Kuni. So it's like a play on words that Oda did do. So, Land of the Dead refers to the underworld creature epithets of Straw Hats, Joy Boy's crew like Demonio, Floors, Enma, Ifrit, all that stuff. Land of the Dead refers to the kingdom being made up of souls who resonated through music. I like that one. Land of the Dead refers to all of them already being dead as they vowed to give up their lives for the inherited will, the future, and finally, Land of the Dead foreshadows how the ancient kingdom met its end. Plus, Luffy's laugh is she, just like Shino Kuni. So,
Ooh.
I'm curious because you probably have seen theories written out like this on Twitter, right? Like, how do you
Yeah,
when
for
you're
sure.
scrolling through, like, would this have caught your eye?
So
Like, you see this, and what would you respond to this? What would you say?
so there's this guy on Twitter. His name is Pangea Castle. You probably don't know who he is. He's not really popular. He's similar to Joe,
Uh huh.
where he makes theories very similar to that, where it's like it's stuff that like not to disrespect.
Oh,
It's like I'm like, it makes you wonder, like, was Oda thinking about that when he
Mm-hmm.
when
Oh,
he wrote
gotcha.
Luffy laughing? When he was like, when he first, had Luffy laughing, saying like, see, was this meant to mean anything? Like, as for, was it just him making Luffy laugh, or was it meant to be like some like deep, like, foreshadowing? Like, and I feel like it's like not everything has to be, a foreshadowing kind of thing for the series, to where
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's just Luffy laughing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not really that deep.
So
Not to, like, shoot down what he's saying, because
yeah, yeah.
it's just like, I don't think Oda was really thinking about that when he was making Luffy laugh
I
at that moment.
I
What do
disagree.
you think? Really?
Yeah, the laugh I think is important. Um, so I'll hit you guys with some extra information. So 4 is considered an unlucky number in Japanese. The reason because it gets shorthanded to she, which means death. So, for
Mhm.
example, like if you were congratulating someone at a graduation, you wouldn't bring them 4 flowers because that would be like a death sentence to them. That would be unlucky, kind of, right?
Really?
So yes, unlucky is the word there. You would be bringing bad luck to them, which is funny. How many times does Luffy typically do it? He uses she. It's a 4 laugh thing, so it's 4 4, and then so
Oh,
now you have a
he always
situation.
laughs in fours.
And here's the thing, if you remember Saul's laugh, dereshishi, also Moria laughs. He also has the shishi. So there are these really important characters that have that laugh that Oda specifically chose. But here's the thing, I get 100%, did Oda design the laugh around that? She isn't really the biggest thing in there. Oh, Rairo's here.
Mhm.
He has a lot of Japanese information here. For example, hotels skip the fourth in room numbers in Japan to like the 13 does in West.
Ooh.
So, but here's the
Wait,
thing:
we don't do room 13s here?
some places don't. Yeah, they just skip either floor 13 or room 13. So like sometimes they'll make the 13th floor like the employees floor, so you can't get there from like the elevator, like that kind of a
Oh,
thing.
I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So like various places have different versions of that. But here's the thing that this is the time where I'm not even spilling. I'm telling you. Uh, wait, timer, do we? I'll add you on Discord because I don't even know how long this if we don't I think we already have it on Discord. I'll tell you the rest of it. Because I don't even know if this will make it into the video. But the other thing about she, the laugh thing, you were saying I don't know if Oda cared to design a character around the laugh, right?
Yeah, like, to like give it like significant,
Do you know what he said about Blackbeard?
what, the Z haha?
That was the hardest part of the design.
Was his laugh?
Yup. That was the that
Really?
was the part that for I think him and the editors took a long time on was his laugh. I don't know how to fit that into a Blackbeard theory just yet. I when I made my
I
big
got a
Blackbeard
decent
video,
theory
you have a
about it.
oh
Like
like the
off
laugh?
the cuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Is so because it starts with a Z, maybe that means he's going to have the last laugh. Z is like
Ooh.
the last letter of
Ooh.
the alphabet.
So when I had my Blackbeard video, I went through like as much information as possible on Blackbeard, and that was the one thing I wanted to incorporate. But it like my video was already long, but I was like, I don't really know how this fits here, and I was like, maybe it doesn't fit for Blackbeard per se. Maybe it fits for something outside, like you're saying, like the last laugh. That's cool. I like that idea. That's a good off the cuff reaction theory too. Um,
Yeah.
I came across something, I don't remember what it is right now, related to
The
this
chat is laughing at me.
to the Zehaha, but I don't remember right now. But that is an important thing where it's like I genuinely think the Shishi laugh that Luffy has 100% important by the notion of
Yeah, me too
the
now.
Blackbeard situation. I sat there, I was like, the laugh? What do you mean the laugh?
Yeah, that's what I thought at first, but with Oda, you
Yeah,
never know.
yeah.
But I'm gonna use the bathroom right quick. I'll be right back.
All right, all right. All right, this was a solid one for him to skip out on because I'm gonna skip this one anyways. Raymond, thank you for the $2 super chat. Geo laughs like this. That's why Par loves him. Nah, wait, does he? How do you know how he laughed? That's great, Ramon. That's low key a self report. Ramon, if you're still here and you know the laugh of that character, oh yikes, yikes. Uh, Red Potato, one of my favorite Geo viewers on his Twitch stream. Uh, I that oh yeah, you posted your top 30. I liked it. I'll read it when he's here. I'll read the super chat when he's here. Let me see if there was anything else I skipped. Not really. This is a good time. You are very intelligent. Thank you, Clutchy. I appreciate that. I get told the opposite all the time, but it's just shorts comments. You know how it is. Um, drunk man, stop it careful. You only get so many passes of calling me Morge. He's evil Par. I am just Par. Wait, that was quick. How'd you read that? Wait, you said that was a quick response. I'm almost scared. I feel like I said that and you heard it. Like, are you like my bro? Are you outside right now? Like that was too quick. Woo. I read the manga unlike you that is still anime only. It's so funny because Ramon just said unlike, he's joking, unlike me that's still anime only, but it's funny because like some people are calling me a manga elitist in my shorts. I'm like, brother, I was anime only for 20 plus years, but I still would never say that anime is greater than the manga. That's just crazy. Oda doesn't touch the anime. Like, it's wild.
He has no influence over that.
He said he was at war with the anime director for a long ass time because of Chopper.
Really?
Yeah. He like literally word for word. He said that he had a one-sided fight that the anime director didn't even know, but he was so angry because he essentially, to paraphrase, the anime director chooses the voice actors, and he chose the voice actor Utani for Chopper, and Chopper, that voice actor is in like, it's super, the voice is super cute. And so Oda was mad that he casted a super cute voice because now he felt like he was being influenced to make it super cute. And
I wonder what Oda had in mind.
He said he just wanted Chopper to be a deer that talks. That's what he wanted.
Like a super deep Chad voice.
Like, he wanted Chopper to be cute because he was a kid that wanted to be a man, but he was like growing into that, like kind of like a Kobe character. That's what he wanted him to be, like this innocent character that's like on a journey to be human. And just like they just want him to speak words and then like learn from Luffy. That's it, kind of thing. Like that's kind of my takeaway. I added some things to what he specifically said, but yeah, he said he was mad at the anime director for mad long, and I'm like, you didn't just talk to him? Like, you were just upset, like. And the funnier part is that the guy didn't even know. Like, the director was just like, what? You were mad at me? Yeah, it's so funny. Oh, God.
It's cool that he watches the anime, though, that Oda is, like, stays in tune with it.
Dude. Oh, I almost accidentally played that John Trumpet video, but it was not playing.
Don't play it.
No, I mean, because I'm just like on the thing. Okay, so Nakeem says, spot me, ParVision. I see you. He Geo shouted you out, so I got that.
Shout out Nakeem.
And then shout outs to Red Potato. I met him through you. He says, hi Par, tell Geo to read Skypea from Red Potato. You know what's funny? Oh my
God. Red is the biggest Skypea fan on planet Earth.
I remember from the Twitch streams, he told me to get you to do it. And at the time, he was the one who told me that you skipped it. He was the reason I found that out.
Oh, it was him?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
I'm pretty sure it was him. And then like one of your other mods or whatever was like, oh, not this again. Like some, and then you were like ignoring it or whatever. It was, it might have, the big mom fan?
Big Mom fan. Yeah.
He had a crack theory. I loved his theory. I shouted out in a stream like thereafter. But Red Potato, funny story. If you watch the VOD, if you watch it back, I basically said, yo, it's fine, skip it, because I want it to be a point where at the end of when One Piece ends, maybe Oda later on's like, is more accessible. I need him to meet Geo. I need him to meet a Skypiea skipper,
Wow.
and I need him to laugh
I
because
think he would be cool with me.
yeah,
He'd be
I
like,
think
"Yo,
Oda
you're
would
actually
laugh. Like
yeah. Oh yeah, for
like
sure."
he's gonna be like, you're telling me the one of the biggest creators on Twitter, like this man gets millions and millions impressions, skipped my favorite arc. Like Oda's gonna be like, no, I just need to see that reaction. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, is that? And speaking of reactions, like Inaki, the live actor for Luffy, meeting Oda, I think I think regardless, one thing that I will say is like I feel like every One Piece fan is probably reacting that same way, right? Like we're just like, oh, what? Like you know what I mean? Like crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. It's so
Yeah,
crazy.
so wild, so
Like
wild.
Oda's so he's just you don't just meet Oda, you know, like that's very crazy.
How does he not have pictures of him for 20 plus years? Like that's
I
not
think he
20 plus
purposely
years.
if I was the person who, you know, was drawing One Piece, yeah, I would also I feel like I would be the same way. I mean, I already don't have that many pictures out there to begin with, but I think I would be very elusive, sound like duck people because you don't want someone to in public to be like, "Hey, what's the?" You know, you see, you're like somewhere out in public and someone
Yeah, he can't
recognize
be with his
you.
family and
What's the
shit.
One Piece?
He already can't. He can't be with his family because of One Piece. Like, how much worse would it be if people recognized him because of One
Yeah, it'd
Piece?
be insane.
Yeah, like, and he has kids too, and like these kids are just like sleeper agents, kind of like they're like I don't even know what their situation is. Like, do kids know that their dad, like their friend's dad, is Oda? Like, I guess like unless they change their names, like I don't even know.
Do
I
you
would
think?
imagine
Do you think that he told them what the One Piece is?
his kids.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so because he actually mentioned his daughter. This is in one of the shorts. I don't want to spoil this part of the short, but he mentioned his daughter in the interview. It's the hook. I'll spoil it. It's the hook. Most of the people here don't even care for the shorts. The hook of the video is Oda's daughter. It was like Oda said his daughter asked him, "Daddy, is your manga gonna be okay?" She
Is your
came home
manga
from
gonna be
a
okay?
field trip and she's like, "Daddy, are you gonna be okay?" And the reason why was because on the field trip, My Hero was so popular that the entire trip on the bus they were singing My Hero. They were just talking all the kids, My Hero, My Hero. So she was like, "Oh no, like my dad's manga is,"
That's rough.
and like so she was
Oh
worried, and
man.
like Oda's like, whatever, right? And it's just that's like
He's like,
so.
yo, is my hero about to take you out of business, Dad? Oh, so I'd be so pissed. I'm
Oh
like,
my
what do you mean that
god.
manga okay? I wrote One Piece.
I feel like if it was closer, like if Oda wasn't like Hirokoshi's literal idol, and if One Piece didn't have like a literal like decade over My Hero, Oda would be like sweating bullets from his daughter coming home saying that shit. But Oda's kind of
Yeah.
like Oda's kind of like on the clouds with it. He's just like
There was a
people.
there was a time period with One Piece where it was literally like it was the number one selling manga for like 10 years straight.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. So
literally,
like
I'm pretty sure it's not like that anymore. But because I
like
think JJK consistently, you know, takes over
yeah, yeah. So
in
his
different
daughter
stuff.
coming home and saying that Oda's just like, oh, that's cute. Oh, Horikoshi. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Right.
He's like, oh my I don't know how wait, right, how would Oda refer to like
Oda
a
is next.
junior mangaka? Isn't Hirokoshi's first name is Kohei. Isn't that really close to like what he's supposed to refer to him, like a younger student kind of thing? It's kind of funny, but yeah, that was just a whole fun situation. That's the hook of it. Oda's daughter was worried about One Piece. First, Oda has a daughter. Second, she was worried about One Piece. And then third, to answer what you're saying, like I think you can kind of gather, like if she knew the ending of One Piece, I don't think she'd be worried. You know?
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I see it
If I was
because
them, I wouldn't tell my kids either though, because like if she's in like public schools and stuff, you don't want her
yeah,
going off and like. the One Piece is and then it gets spread online, and then some random leaker on Twitter leaks it.
So, so you're right. You're right. Exactly. Exactly. The kid thing, you can't tell. That's why Oda only told that Make a Wish kid. And I can make that joke because I have the
Imagine the Make a Wish kid lives like, oh damn it.
yikes. People said like Oda might send the ops, like Oda's the Gorosei in that op.
That's so. He's
Yo,
like, yo,
you made a wish. It's
you
paying her.
gotta, you can't stick around now, right? You gotta.
It's it was a wish. Like you made a wish. We're keeping it a wish, buddy. Like damn. Oh god. But what Rairo is saying, yeah. So Hirokoshi's family name is Kohei, and so Kohai is the name for Junior. So his name's already pretty close to Junior. So yeah, Oda would be like, "Oh, Kohai, how cute, how kawaii," like. But yeah, but so because the reason why I'm saying that is I got to not technically meet, but in person film Red's premiere in New York. The director of it is the mangaka for not the mangaka. He was the director of.
Oh wait, the guy for Code Geass. Am I
Yes.
right? I knew it.
Yes.
Yes, and I heard that somewhere. I don't know where, but I know that for some reason.
I'm pretty sure it was him and not his like assistant, but he was there. He flew out so that he could see our reactions. He
Oh,
flew out,
that's so
not just
cool.
him. He's this old dude. He's like 80 or something. He flew from Japan. I think he also said that like it was the first time leaving too or some shit like that. But he also
Wait, it was the actual director of Film Red.
yeah, the director of Film Red. Let me double check. Like
Wow, that's so cool. I heard that he also did like one of the original One Piece OVAs, like the very first one. I saw that in like a One Piece video somewhere where he apparently was like the one of the first OVA before, like I want to say like 1996, before the anime even came out.
yeah.
He did that. He directed that. But I'm not really sure that's really true. So he might. But I saw that somewhere. It might be true. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out because I see this guy, and this might be like when he was younger, but the guy I saw was fairly old, and or maybe it was just bad lighting. I apologize if hey, if you're listening, it's not
So upset right now.
it's not
Like, I thought I
you.
looked pretty young.
It's the light. I think it was this guy. He looked a little older. It's fine. New York ages people up. It's whatever. I apologize. I'm so sorry. But he also made like 4 other people fly out. And none of these people know English either. They're just like the people who worked on like the Film Red or whatever, like important people in the thing and in the industry. And he flew out literally to see our reactions because he knows the ending of One Piece. He knows the ending of One Piece.
Oh, that's true. He does.
And he said, I know the ending of One Piece and I wanted to see your reactions to this movie and seeing how cute like the smiles, like your laughter or whatever, your reactions is really cute because I know the ending and it's so like he was basically kind of saying like damn, like I can't experience the ending again. So I'm experiencing it vicariously through you kind of way.
That's
You know what I
what.
mean?
Yeah, that's what makes Film Red so special to me, because it comes from a director who, I think it's the only One Piece movie that comes from a director who literally knows how the series ends.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy, because it's like I wonder if he hinted at anything in that movie that
Oh,
about the
he
One Piece ending.
1000% did. And like that's why I'm saying like this dude, he operated differently because he knows the ending of
Yeah.
One Piece. You know what I mean? I feel like once you know the ending of One Piece, you can't walk the same. Like I feel like you even wipe your butt differently after the you kind of like nothing's
Use
the
the left
same
hand instead of the right
afterwards.
hand.
Yeah, like your shit just changes. Is all I'm gonna say. Like
Whoa, no pun intended.
but because this dude literally is just like he when he did the thing right like we're in a movie theater, he told them turn on the lights, I need to see everyone's faces for what I'm about to say. And because he wanted like this guy 80-year-old dude like he changed up so much just to see us react to like this movie that's not even technically his series, right? Like this isn't even his series and he's just the director for it. And he wanted to see the reactions, and he knows the ending of One Piece. I'm like, this fucking asshole, dude. This dude is just flexing on us right now. He's just sitting there He was laughing, and obviously I'm joking and being offended, but it was just like this dude had a different aura. Once you know the ending of One Piece, it's a different, you know. It's like Rayleigh. Oh, that's what it is. It's like Rayleigh, right?
Oh, that's a great correlation with
Yeah, like
Rayleigh because
Rayleigh just
Rayleigh knows
walked
the
different. Like there's
yeah, he's
no
very
point.
chill, he's very calm.
Yeah, there's no point in the story where Rayleigh walked like anybody else. Like Rayleigh walked on Amazon Lily, like, no, that guy is different. This dude is different right now. And the same thing as
Yeah.
Sabaody, man was enslaved, walked out through the hole, and it's like, no, that guy is not a normal dude. Like I remember when I first watched it, I was like, this guy is
But
crazy.
the first time you saw him,
Yeah, he became my favorite
I remember
character.
that too.
Yeah,
It's just so like the old man character is always just really badass, like in any anime series. We're
yeah,
like, especially Rayleigh, because he knows everything.
exactly,
The
exactly.
best part was where he's like, what did he say to Robin? Where he's
Wait
like, I'd rather
till
you basically experience it with yourself, find the One Piece yourself.
yeah,
Cause like what he said, what we did with the information, it was something that was just, it was such a, the dialogue was just so hard there, you know.
right.
That's one of the most tense moments in One Piece history when they were like, he's like, yeah, we found it or something like that. Like, we were there, and like the way that they like direct his character, where like his glasses are like lighting up. Has this happened before?